because, we need to enable audio for things to actually work. And then we go to the 5 cameras and go, hello and welcome to another episode of 6 and 20 Metropolis. This is our second episode of the week. It's our regularly scheduled episode at 5 p.m. Pacific, the right coast, 8 p.m. Eastern. That's for you in chat there. Sorry, having a little bit of technical difficulties. My USB hub decided at the last minute to start going wonky on me. So, while I continue to fix things, I'm going to throw it out to everybody to do introductions. And so today we're going to start with Alex. Alex, go for it.
Hi, my name is Alex. I'm Zippy Zippo. I'm playing Henry. He's a medical student, and he may or may not be trying to fuck with the mob.
Cool, I'll fill in the empty awkward space. Hi, I'm
It was that mob comment that I really needed to give him shit about. Anyways, go on, sorry. Go on, Blonda.
I have coffee today, Blonda. It's about half full, so we're doing well. I play Sethano, who is, yeah, she's half cut. She's having an interesting experience. This is such a good plan that we're doing. This is going to be fun times. Sam?
I'm Sam, also known as Harley's Army. I'm playing Charlie. She is... Oh my god, I forgot who was playing. I'm playing Charlie. She is blind and she beats people up. What else to say? I'm currently really bleeding.
You're bleeding from laceration. Oh, gouge! You're not even lacerated yet.
She's gouged. No, she's gouged. That's better. That's worse than lacerated, because lacerated was status 2, gouged was 3. So, what's gonna happen next? Will it be?
I'm totally gonna die, and it's gonna be epic. And then I'll kill everybody as I die, and then I'll explode because I set bombs all over the city. It's fine, cool.
Alex, I don't remember. I know you've paid attention to the rules a little bit, and I know Wanda spent a little time in the book too. They don't really talk about death in the sense that you couldn't come back as a ghost. You could come back as a ghost, literally.
You could come back as a ghost. They don't really talk. They talk about death in one instance, because this system doesn't use health. They use statuses. So it's basically narratively, if you snowball up to enough statuses, it's pretty kind of self-explanatory that you're dead, or you use ultimate scale, which has a chance of death.
Well, so the when you hit the end of the scale, when you hit it's usually tier 5 or 6, depending upon what we want to set the threshold at. That typically means unconscious, and that pulls you out of the scene. Whether that actually means death is questionable, and you're right about the ultimate scale. I think it would be interesting giving somebody like Charlie the opportunity to come back as an angry teenage ghost.
I would not come back. I would just roll a new character.
I mean, come on, you'd be angry Casper. That'd be awesome.
No, I just...
She finds the one person who will accept her for being a ghost, and they have that slow dance, and she whispers in his ear, "Can I keep you?" And then she just turns back into a ghost.
Gross.
That's so adorable.
That was such a creep. It was adorable when I was a kid. I was like, "Oh, that's so adorable." And then as a kid, not as a kid, as an adult, when I watched it, I was like, "Dude, that's fucking creepy."
You?
It is.
Are
creepy.
you trying to lay possession on Cat?
Are you being one of those people who owns other people around them? Whew. No.
Whoa.
Girls. No.
This is digressed.
Yeah, this is digressed pretty badly, but I think it's funny where it's gone. So before we get started, I'm going to do a couple bits of business. So this is 6 and 20. This is Metropolis. This is our show that we do 3 times a week. Typically, yesterday this crew did a makeup episode. 6 and 20 is a thing that we do across 3 channels. My channel here, VideoStoreCowboy, NotSoSpeedRuns on Thursday night, and UnMadeGaming on Wednesday night. You can find the links in chat if you want to check it out. On top of that, we are doing a deal with a company who produces, or who designed and produced City of Mist, Son of Oak. We currently have a deal where if you put a coupon code in their website, you can actually get the copy of the book for $5 off, and it's the only place that you can get the book and the PDF together as a bundle. I think I'll do the rest of the announcements afterwards, because I'm actually kind of excited to get back into the game. So unless you guys have anything else, Huh?
What are we doing?
I don't know. What are we doing?
I don't know.
No idea. My notes are terrible. I have no idea what we did yesterday.
Oh, we beat the crap out of Sable.
Oh,
We
right.
got her. We got her in a small papoose, but Sable
Thing
wasn't.
that none of the other crews could do.
Hey,
Oh yeah.
hey,
we
hey,
were
Alex.
able to take that.
I think they were fucking with you, buddy. they were messing with us.
No, I think he knew.
Not? Did you?
And
Yeah.
All right. I'm
he
sorry.
was just talking about the fact that we caught Sable,
Yeah.
which none of
But
the
that
other.
wasn't the head of the snake. Yeah, that wasn't the head of the snake.
Yeah,
It's now
everyone else-
Anatoly.
Yeah, everyone was like, "Oh no, don't do this. She's gonna kill you." We're like, "Bring it."
Bring it. I'll summon a magical force that just binds and gags her in a weird. Yeah. All right.
Okay.
We got this.
All right.
We got this. Well,
Are
we
you
kinda
sure
have
you got
this.
that?
We might have this.
Did you see the latest tweet? Here, let me post the link to the latest tweet.
I didn't. Oh,
Look at the
yeah,
image.
Yeah, I saw it.
You tell me. You tell me what you think.
Oh, we got that. It's Mr. Smith. All we gotta do is we gotta shove our hands into him, become the
Phrasing.
Mr. Smith. Yeah, shove our hands into that Smith, become that Smith, absorb all the other Smiths, and just blow up and save the Matrix. That's how we beat him.
Yeah.
So one of us really should have been Big Brother. We would have been okay.
This is
We would have
gross.
gotten inside of all this crap.
Can we get started? I really want to get started because I mean,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
are you
I'm
sure?
ready.
If you want to.
No.
Your show. If you want to do it, go for it.
All right, so let's get started. Previously on 6 and 20 Metropolis, after escaping a car chase with Roz, which reminds me, I'm going to have a question for you when we get started, just FYI. After escaping a car chase with Roz, Henry having murdered somebody,
Is it really murder if they were threatening to murder somebody else?
Are you going to have a morality tale with me? Are you going to have a morality conversation with me right in the middle of the recap? Because I will say, yes, it was murder. You did not know. The actual... I will be very clear about this right now. The guy's intention wasn't to kill her. You murdered him.
Oh well.
Problem
shit.
solved. Problem solved.
Cause her harm.
Well,
If it's going to cause her harm,
But does
Then
it deserve murder?
well, if it stops him from causing harm, and that's the only option left, and that's the reasonable force required.
Have you been talking to Morgan and Flora again?
No.
I think both of you have been talking to Morgan and Flora. Anyways, let me finish this recap real quick. Anyways, so after that car chase sequence, which was initiated by Charlie being, blind, driver, freaking baby driver and crap, you all found a brief timed a bit of downtime, first in an abandoned apartment, and then at Henry's place, as you're able to recoup your wounds, kind of heal up a little bit, and deal with the fact that Roz is currently incapacitated in some way. In between, I believe it was Sethana and Henry, they figured out that there was some magical means behind what was going on with her. Deciding that you were going to figure out more about this particular situation, a call came in from Juggy of the Alley Cats, who let you know that Julia Sable was going to be meeting them tonight, the Alley Cats tonight, at the Junkyard, their bar inside of the citier part of Tinseltown. After much planning and preparation, you get there and a fight ensues. It's a bit of a bloodbath for a couple of you, but ultimately you succeed and are able to to scare most of the Alley Cats away when you receive a phone call saying you're dead. Unsure of who that was, you see a bunch of cars kind of drive up, and out start popping these identical gray-suited individuals making a move in. All three of you make your way out to try to escape before they can cut you off at the back door, when you find yourself in the middle of a scuffle. And that's where we kind of fade in. Charlie, you had just kicked two of them inside. Henry had just, kind of sidestepped out with Julia Sable in his arms, kind of bound. And of course, Sethana just stepped out as those two individuals were kicked in and just closed the door on them, locking them in a battlefield vision that should unsettle them. But did it? Let's find out. Fading in. Where do you guys want to begin?
What was your question for us?
You said there was a question about Roz.
Oh, yes, you're absolutely right. Sorry. What did you guys do with Roz?
What?
Roz is still at my apartment in the elevated master bedroom of my loft apartment.
Alone?
Well,
The trees are protecting her.
Yeah,
Who?
I have the
Did you
century
see
trees.
those trees? They're terrifying.
The terrifying trees. They would like break out of the ground and come inside if they had to.
So
I
the,
actually
the sentry trees were, I thought, only working when you were there. Like it's only a thing that when you interact with
Yeah.
nature. So that's what I was.
Yeah.
That's what I was. I was
Yeah,
interested because.
they're yeah.
Okay.
So I mean, if they want to break into my house and steal Roz,
Oh,
that's-
I'm not suggesting that that's happening at all. I was actually more
Oh.
interested about the fact that you just left her in her incapacitated state.
She's there's nothing we can do for her. She's probably dead.
I probably gave her a catheter and an IV, so she's on fluids, so she doesn't die.
She's probably dead.
She's probably dead.
Charlie
Oh,
moves on
shit.
quickly.
We need to change the pee bag, guys. We gotta head back.
Okay, this conversation just got
hi.
grosser. I'm so sorry.
We're trying to go back, but these stupid men are in our way.
Well, they are stupid, and they are men, and they are in your way. So, with all that being said, where do you guys begin? How do you guys do this?
So
How many? There's only 2 left.
Oh, there were only
No.
2 left, but there were more coming around from the side, from the cars at
but
the front.
Didn't I hide the effect of being heard going out the back?
You did hide the effect of going out the back, but the front is blocked.
yeah,
So they came around to the back anyways because they were trying to gain access to the building.
Oh,
So
wow.
I look at the mobsters, and I hold Julius Sables kind of like hostage wise and say, "Parlay. I want parlay with Anatoly."
Guns come out.
We're not pirates.
And I put Julius Sable right in front of me, and she's like, "Well, I mean, if she doesn't mean that much to you, you can shoot."
Gunfire shoots and ricochets off the wall right behind you. Clearly, he is able to shoot very well. Guns are pointed at you. Come on, Charlie. You know you like to knock guns out of people's hands.
I'm gonna take my pipes and throw them in 2 different directions. One to like one side to knock the gun out of the hand of the guy that just shot, and one into the head of another, and hopefully knock him down.
Okay, so that's happening. Henry, how are you reacting to that gunshot?
Let me roll for it.
Well, hold on. I just kind of want to get an idea where everybody's going with this because there's multiple assailants here, right? And this is not just like the 2 guys that are in front of you. Now there's a group of them. There's like 10 of them that have come around. Remember, there was 4 cars out front filled with these guys.
I feel like he has been through enough shit for one day, and he's starting to get frustrated. As he does, the papoose that is Julius Sable begins to cocoon around into a giant club. And he picks up the club, and he's like, "All right, you want her? I'm gonna give it to you."
Okay, well, hold on. I that's an interesting thought. That's an interesting set of thoughts, and I'm going to ask you more questions about that. So I know what Charlie's doing. I know what Henry's doing. What is Seth Anna going to jump into this to?
Seeing that my 2 companions probably have these 2 dudes well in hand, I want to kind of access something she's not tried before.
This sounds like another Stop Holding Back coming up.
It's not, no.
Okay.
It's one of the new tags from her new theme book, which is Tales from the Dead.
Okay.
I want to try and get some information from about these guys from the other side.
This is perfect.
Wait a minute. Can you explain that a little bit more?
So one of the new tags that she has is Tale from the Dead.
Sorry, had a problem there. Go ahead. No, my USB hub is still going nuts, right? And so I lost the ability to control my mouse there for just a second. So
Oh, that's fine. You good?
Yeah, I'm good. Go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry.
Okay. One of the new tags she has is Tale from the Dead. So I want to, seeing that my two companions have beating the snot out of these two under control, I want to try and get some information about them from the other side of the mist. Does that make sense?
Yes. So I think it wouldn't be necessarily the mist, because the mist isn't the veil that stands between light and dark, right? Or between the world and the afterworld. It would be more like, whatever, it would be like the river Styx, right? From the other side of the river Styx, or whatever the inside the hall of Valhalla, right? Or across the bridge that leads into hell for the north. Like there's two separate places, I believe, in Norse mythology, because as a Valkyrie you would be subject to both of those.
Yeah, there are, like, the particular, like, the stream that I'm following with her is that there is the battlefield, and then Odin takes his pick, or Freya takes her pick, and the Valkyries essentially work for Odin to get them to there, or they push them over to Freya's side. So that's kind of like the two kind of places they have. But there are I think there are like almost half a dozen, I'm told, but they all do slightly different things. Mist was not the word I was looking for. It was the word that sprang in my head and I couldn't get it out. I'm like,
No, that's totally fine. I just wanted to clarify. Okay, so now I know what the three of you are doing. Let's go ahead and start with Charlie. You're going to throw these two pipes. Let's see this.
Okay, so yes, senses the finest detail, perfect short range target. Filter, no, because it's not. I feel like it's not really loud right now. Martial arts, outgoing agility. So 4. Yes, what?
Oh, I was gonna let Johnny know I'm trying to make you a visual representation.
I know what you were doing.
Okay.
All right. Go ahead.
Yeah. So. Senses the finest details, perfect short range target, martial arts, and outgoing agility. And I don't know if any of my weakness tags necessarily apply here, because it's like we're already in a dangerous situation. I'm not ignoring it.
Yeah, you are fully aware of how many guys, because because your senses sort of extend beyond what's visual, right? So you know how many guys are coming around.
Yeah.
You know the tactical situation.
Yeah.
So you are definitely, in your element here.
So 4, and I feel like it's hit him with all you got.
Yes, go for it.
10. Great success.
All right, well, hold on. Let me make sure I scroll down so that everybody on screen can see. Okay, so you can do two things with hit him with all you got, right?
Hmm?
You can get you can do two of the choices from the list there, right?
Yes.
Plus you inflict a tier status equaling power, so it's a power of 4.
Yeah.
In this particular case, they're going to take a reduced status of 1 because they have something called resilience. So that's going to reduce the status of 1. And they reduce something else. There's another status that's going to reduce it by another 1. And I'm not going to tell you what that is yet. I'm going to let you guys figure it out. But it is pretty obvious when it happens. Okay? So they take a tier 2 status. I'm going to say you were throwing at the one... you were throwing at one from the gun, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then who were you throwing at the other one?
Just the opposite way at the opposite dude.
Okay. Were you aiming for the gun?
One for the gun, one for the head.
Okay. So the one with the gun, it flies out, knocks the gun out of his hand, and now he has a story tag of disarmed.
Okay.
And he's going to take a harm status of 2, which is broken knuckles, because you threw it hard enough that it just kind of like he's disarmed and he dropped. That one of his hands is got broken knuckles.
He won't be able to shoot at us because barely any people can shoot with their bad hand.
Very true, but wait till you find out more about these guys. The other guy takes a broken nose, so his tier status 2 is he takes a broken nose and it's starting to bleed.
Okay.
All right, so you throw that out. As that happens, a third one comes in and begins to swing at you, and we're going to cut...
Yeah, I still get to pick 2 off the list.
Oh, you're right. You're absolutely right. I'm sorry.
If someone's going to... hit at me, I'm going to use the ability to move out of the way.
So you're going to take cover?
It's just ability to move them or get out of the way.
If it's in your ability
Or
to move them, they are out of the way. So you're moving them, but you could gain an advantage on the battlefield and
I'm
just
gonna gain
Well,
advantage on the battlefield. Yeah.
So you're going to take a superior. Okay, so that's a different thing, right? So that's you getting the upper hand. That's you taking a juice that you can spend like as if you're changing the game.
Yeah, I know.
So so you're going to take that one,
and I'm also going to secure superior position so they can't hit back.
Excellent. All right. So as that you throw the two things out.
What can I do with the change the game thing though?
So you can use the change. So you get it's like you roll to change the game.
I'm gonna hold on to my juice.
Perfect. Okay. Right. And so because you rolled a 10 or above, a great success, you get all of the items in the list for change the game.
Okay.
So there's
I'll have to pull up the book.
Yeah, there's 7 items in the list,
Can I just roll a change the game real quick so I can look at it? Going into the book.
There's a handout for it. Aren't you?
There's a handout. Yeah, go to handout. It's player moves 1.
Okay, that's fine. Thanks.
Yeah.
Okay,
cool.
So as the swing comes in, you sense the guy coming in, and so with by taking the superior position, you're going to avoid the damage, and you just kind of sidestep it as the guy kind of punches and kind of continues the swing and misses. Now we're going to cut to Henry.
Mm-hmm. So I have Sable. She's kind of all wrapped up in vines. He's going to manipulate those vines to create more layers to where she becomes this giant bat.
Okay.
Okay, and then because he doesn't care what happens to Sable. If anything, she's as good as dead in his book, kind of deal.
Okay.
Because of what she wants to do. So he's going to start swinging at the guys with the Sable bat.
Okay, so first things first thing you're going to need to do is you're going to need to change the game.
Okay, so I'll change the game with Briar Defense because I'm adding more layers onto this papoose to hopefully dampen the any impact, but he doesn't really care what happens, but he knows that Valanda and Charlie do. Briar Weapon because he's making a bat. And I think that's all that I can do if I'm just making the bat right now with change the game.
Yes. So go ahead and change the game.
So 9 mild success.
Okay, so you can spend those 2 juice on the top 3 in the list in the moves handout.
Okay. I'm going to summon the new object, making the Sable Bat.
Okay.
And I'm going to add a temporary tag. Yeah. To the bat called Ironwood as well.
So I have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Henry's what? 6 feet tall? 5'8", 5'9"?
He's 5'8".
What kind of build is he?
He's not jacked, but he's not scrawny. He's like, I don't know, medium build. He wouldn't be a featherweight and he wouldn't be a heavyweight. He'd be a lightweight.
Okay, so answering all of those questions, I would assume that Julia Sable's probably 90 to 100 pounds wet. Putting the bat around her, how are you going to swing that? Because that's probably going to be a good 120 pounds.
And I'm glad you asked. Every time I swing, because these vines are of my own control, these vines shoot out the back of it. So if I'm swinging this way, they shoot out the back of it to increase the momentum and help with the physical swinging in the bat. So they shoot towards the ground, allowing me to lift it up, and then gives me the momentum. He's not swinging with precision. He's swinging with momentum. This bat is supposed to be able to take a bunch of them out at once. So
okay, that's a pretty good description. I like that. All right, so I'm going to ask you though to spend your story tag, your second juice on that particular element of it.
Okay, we'll call it living wood.
We'll call it living wood, but
No.
we're just yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
We'll call it wildwood.
Okay, we're just going to assume that the bat is made out of this ironwood that you made your armor from. So
Yeah.
we're just going to call it ironwood bat or whatever.
Yeah. When he does, he readies it up, and then he's going to lunge at the. There's like, how many would you say?
How many would I say? There are two
They
in
are
front of you.
me.
Two in front of you. There are about 4 on one side, and there are about 6 on the other side. So you to your left, there's 4, and to your right, there's 6. Those guys are just coming around the corner, and one of them was able to come and move in as Charlie did her thing, right? And so they're still a good distance, but the 2 in front of you are definitely dealing with a broken nose and a shattered knuckles or broken shattered knuckles from the hit with Charlie's pipes.
Okay. So he's gonna lunge with all 150 of his momentum, because he's 150 pounds, plus whatever Julia is, plus the momentum that is the bat's living attribute is kind of giving him, and he's gonna hit these 2 with all he got.
Okay.
So, Briar weapon, evasive footwork, because he has to have decent footwork to even, make this proper lunge. Ebb and flow, and I think that's it.
So I got another question for you. Is this a situation where pacifism comes into play?
This bat is not lethal. And something about these 2 look otherworldly.
Sure. How do you assume that the bat is not lethal though? It's over 120 pounds.
Okay, if you want to invoke pacifism, we can do that.
I'm just
No,
curious.
that works. Yeah, but when he noticed that all of these look the same, he thinks that there's something not natural about these.
That's very true. I can see that argument if he believes that they're not natural, then that.
Yeah.
But then actually that brings another philosophical question that I'm going to pose to you later in a situation, because I'm very curious about Henry's perspective on that. But so go ahead. You don't have to invoke pacifism. Roll it though.
Great success.
Okay, so hit him with all you got. You inflict a tier status of 4 or 3. But it's going to get reduced by 2. 1 for the resilient and 1 for the other reason that you haven't figured out yet.
Okay.
What do you want to do with your 2 chosen abilities?
2 chosen abilities. There's loads of collateral damage.
Okay. And how do you want to describe that collateral damage?
I want to say we're in an alleyway, right? Is there any trash cans?
There are trash cans.
Like the big dumpster ones?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so he hits these 2 with the momentum. He's going to send them sprawling backwards because of how hard he's hitting, unless they are rooted. And he's going to slam them into these dumpsters that go sprawling across the alleyway. Trying to think of what else could cause a lot of collateral damage. Are there any? If I were hitting them towards their direction, is there any of them coming that direction?
Well, wait a minute.
Because they're just kind of circling.
So let me ask you this question. So you're going to use these big dumpsters to kind of swing them out, and where are they going to go? Against these 2, or against the 4 and the 6 that are in the 2 directions?
The 4 and the 6 in the 2 direction, but I feel like since I'm swinging it to the left, it would have to go to the people coming on the left. He's trying to send the collateral damage to impede the 6 that are coming on one side.
Okay.
And that's going to create collateral damage, like knocking over bowling pins kind of deal. And then I'm going to spend the next status to take a superior position, as in I'm ready to swing again. Whereas normally you would probably be kind of fatigued with swinging something that big.
Okay, so describing again so when you swing,
It's like you're going
hold
full
on,
out hitting a homer.
Hold on. Let me get through this, right? Because the
Mm-hmm.
fatigue part, I can see how you easily do that. I'm not concerned about that. But it's
Mm-hmm.
as you swing the bat around, right, and it comes swinging around, it nails the dumpster, sending it off, towards the guys to the left, forcing them to, hitting a couple of them and forcing the other two to kind of scatter, right? So they're going to take statuses anyways, right? I just want to make sure that that's how you're envisioning it well, because the way you described it, like they're getting rolled over by rolling pins, they're going to see it coming. So,
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's more like I'm going for these guys in front of me, and I swing and I knock them and a dumpster off to the people on my left. So they'll see it coming, but like maybe they don't get out of the way. Who knows?
Well,
I don't know. I'm these things I don't think are living, but like somebody would be pretty scared if a dumpster was coming at them. They have like a split second to make a decision.
Yeah, actually, they have a status of, or they have a danger. They have an effect on them, or an ability on them that actually mitigates some of that. Just so you're aware, they don't experience fear in the way that you guys, the way that a normal person would experience fear. Okay, so that happens, right? So that the swing that kind of comes through, right? It connects, and so these two standing right in front of you each take a status effect, and it's reduced, but it's still there, right? It still kind of hits them, and so they take bruised status effects, which feeds into their. In the case of the one with a broken nose, that's a broken nose 2. It's a 2+1 on that status. So if he takes another 1, it's going to increase to 3, right?
Okay.
For the one with the broken the fractured knuckles or the shattered knuckles, same thing, right? He's bruised as well, but that kind of adds in. And so as that kind of slams around, the bat just kind of slams around, and essentially that trash bin starts moving forward. 2 of them get hit by it and get slammed to get pushed back, and so they're going to take status 1 disoriented, and they're out. They're essentially out of the fight for the moment, as the other 2 kind of scatter, but are also in a situation where they can't immediately engage. So they're going to be out for a minute. Those 4 are going to be basically out for a couple of seconds in the fight. So as that happens, you're able to kind of recover and just kind of bring it back as you're beginning to prepare for, and we're going to cut to Sathana.
Okay.
Hello.
Hi, Sathana. You wanted to do something really interesting. What did you want to do?
Yeah. I want to learn something about these guys from the other side.
Okay.
I kind of want to figure out a bit of what they are, or figure out what it is about them that makes them the way they are, like
Okay.
that sort of thing.
All right. So we talked about this briefly when I had you describe it, because I wanted a little bit of an understanding of what each of you were going to do, so I knew how to prepare in that situation. So I was thinking about it, and you talked a little bit about how the battlefield represents the afterlife and Valhalla and all of that feeling for you in respect to being the Valkyrie, having the Valkyrie, as the mythos. With that in mind, how do you go about doing this? Like, how do you seek this knowledge? What is the narrative description for you seeking this knowledge?
So, previously we described in one of her, I don't want to say flashbacks, it's not montage.
Montage.
Montage. Of how she would walk the streets of her old neighborhood and just, with a touch, just kind of like figure out who they are, where they are, just like blinking in and blinking out of the battlefield to figure out what's going on with them.
Mm-hmm.
I think if one of them is close enough, I assume there's one close enough that she can reach out and touch.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, then she'll want to do that, and then do that blinking into the other side, and then she will call for help. Like shout across the battlefield for someone to help her and figure out what's going on, and then listen to the voices.
So I'm gonna ask you what kind of a move this is now, and then I'm gonna or what kind of move you think this is, and then I'm gonna make a suggestion that might actually play into the story as well in respect to the narrative that you've described a little bit. So what do you think? What kind of a move do you think this is?
I have two. Either it's investigate or change the game.
Okay, I can see both of those.
I think probably investigate because she's trying to learn something about them.
Okay.
What is your suggestion?
So there is a different move. It's a cinematic move called, appropriately, flashback. Haha. We've all been there before. But this is the way it works is differently in this particular game. So with a flashback, when the spotlight is on you, with this move, you can cut from the current scene, flashback into somewhere in your past, describe a situation, and out of that situation comes you earn either a juice or a clue. Now the juice can be spent as a change the game, or the clue can be spent as an investigate. And from that, you could also learn, and you won't have to do any rolls of any kind. So you'll get a guarantee. So based on your narrative description, you'll either get a guaranteed juice or you'll get a guaranteed clue, and then you'll be able to spend that in the moment. So it's really up to you whatever you want to do of those three. The cinematic one requires no roll. It just means you have to do a little bit of a narrative description.
So would this be like a flashback in the way that you described it, where we'd have to do a flashback of her finding out this information, or would it be a flashback in the term of I'm flashing back to something of this person's on the field?
It could be of these persons on the field, or maybe it's someplace else that you might have encountered them.
I'm trying to think of where we would have encountered them. I don't think.
Well, so the battlefield isn't the only place that the Valkyrie would have spent. It's just the way that you imagine the Elysium field, right? The version of Valhalla, the version of heaven, or the appropriate place for it. That does not necessarily mean that that's the only place that as a Valkyrie you've been. Does that make sense?
So as a Valkyrie rather than as Sethana.
Now,
yeah, you can do that. That actually can come up.
Then
in
yeah.
Norse mythology, is there Elysium, or is that specifically Greek?
There is a concept of the Elysium Fields. It's not the same as it's not the same name as in Norse mythology, but there is a concept like that. It's typically thought of there's one of three places, right? There's, at least from the way I remember it, there's Hell, or there's Hell, who is essentially the version of Hades, except she's female and she controls the underworld. There is Valhalla, which is the hall where all of the great warriors spend their time drinking and getting into scuffles and all of that. And then there is the field where they actually do battle each day before they go into the hall at night and drink and carouse and be warriors. So that Elysium field is the same sort of concept as this field in Norse mythology. So that's generally where I think, at least I've been envisioning what Sathana's been doing in this entire time.
Yeah, I'll go with that. That's fine. The version I've been looking at is Freya. Is essentially when they married two slightly different religions together, is that they allowed both, or whoever religion you were following, even if you were married to someone else of a different religion, that you could still choose your afterlife. So half of them Odin would pick, I think Freya would pick, and then Odin would have the greatest of the warriors. It was just a way of marrying up the two things, so they were inclusive and not purging someone. So, I mean, the idea that there is a field separate to all of that where they're all fighting is definitely canon with that idea.
Okay. And so, with that all said, what move do you want to execute here?
I think I want to do the flashback as the Valkyrie because I think it'll be more interesting.
Okay, that's perfectly fine.
Okay. So, if she's been to other places and she's seen other things, there's a chance that the Valkyrie, before it was settled in Sethana, could well have seen these creatures as they were being, if they are that would cause a stir on the whole, like, great warrior power shifts. So there may be a chance that the Valkyrie part of her either saw their creation or has seen them fight.
Okay. Probably at some point, sure. But I'm going to ask you to describe to me I'm going to ask you to narrate that experience. And we'll play it out a little bit, and then it'll become obvious. Some things will become obvious about them.
Okay.
Well, so you'll do that. You'll see that scene, and then you'll be able to ask me a very specific. You'll be able to ask me a question based on that.
Okay. As Sothana reaches out to touch this, we'll call him Duplicate 1. As she reaches out to touch him, she'll get a flash of standing in a room or standing in a field. Let's go field because that's more interesting. I was seeing her standing in a field, and she looks around and she sees that it's just people fighting, and then they part as if they're suddenly turning around and looking at something being created. And she'll walk over there, or she'll fly over there, glide over there, whichever she will do, probably glide. And she'll see the formation of a small thing, a being, and then it turns into a person, the duplicate that she's looking at. What are they?
That's not enough. I need more. So I were to play out this scene a little bit more, because you see that you see this being being formed on the battlefield, right? Like it comes up, and as it kind of comes up and stands, you see the image of it, and it stands clad in leather armor, and it is this drab sort of gray armor with fur, and it pulls a sword, and as it pulls the sword, you see that it actually steps forward, and there's a second one there, and it moves forward with it, and so they begin to move as a line. And as that second one kind of moves forward, there's another one that kind of, steps out from behind, and they begin to move. And as that first one that produced the second one, it also kind of steps out and moves forward. And so now they went from 1 to 2 to 4 to 8. And they're moving forward. And as they're running and moving forward, off in the distance at the other side of the battlefield, you see someone who looks very similar, but a little older. Just kind of crouched over, kind of standing there, like this. And as they clash, the 8 has become 16, and then 32 and 64, consuming the battlefield. With their numbers, as you kind of shake it out, and you're back into the present. And so when you look at them, your question is, what are they? You don't have that answer. You just know that they are Legion.
Excellent. That's cool.
We are Legion.
All right.
We are many.
So this fight is continuing, right? And Charlie is now just kind of avoided that swung and got into a superior position. And as she steps up to do what?
I'm gonna use the juice to reduce a tier status on myself.
The lacerated?
Yeah, I'm going to lacerated. So I'm gonna take a second and do my little not real meditation, but just hone in on my breathing and hearing, and just
She does have the torque as well.
Yeah, and with that, it's going to reduce my status from 3 to 2.
Well, so first, you use the juice to reduce from 3 to 2. With the torque being there, it's going to reduce from 2 to 1.
Awesome.
So you're going to go from gouged, right? And you're going to feel the healing kind of as you kind of center in, as you're kind of moving. And it's like it's almost like you're in a battle dance a little bit, just kind of in the situation. And you feel the healing powder just kind of, begin to emanate from you as your eyes close as a part of the meditation that you were taught.
Yeah.
And it just continues as you feel the power of the torque kind of infuse with you a little bit, and it goes from 3 to 2 to 1, and so now you're scratched tier 1.
Cool.
All right.
And then I'm going to try to break one of these guys' necks.
Sounds like Charlie.
Yeah, so I'm gonna like jump on one of these guys' backs and try to snap its neck.
Okay. So what kind of a move is that?
Since it's the finest detail, well, it's gonna be a hit 'em with all you got. Because
Okay.
Since it's the finest detail, perfect short range target, martial arts, outgoing agility. And I guess I could have used always gets up because I was still injured earlier.
You
So
you definitely could have used that.
And I still could use that now because I'm technically still injured.
Yes, you are.
Okay, so that's 5, but I don't think any of my weaknesses apply.
No, I don't think they do either here at this point.
Okay. Hit what did I get? A 9.
You got a mild success. Okay, so they're gonna take. You're gonna inflict the status on them, and you're gonna spend your one thing. You're gonna get one of those abilities. So why don't you talk about what you're gonna spend, and then I'll tell you what happens after that.
Tier 1 plus tier 1 status on them.
Plus tier 1 status. Okay, so that's really good. That's really good.
I was gonna say I know I should have probably taken cover, but oh well.
Well,
I'm healed. Okay.
So this is what happens because you had used 5 power tags. It would have been a tier 5, which would have brought it to a 6.
Yeah.
Which
-2.
Which means -2, right? But the way that you kind of jump up and you grab this guy and you kind of twist him, as you're kind of twisting, he's already got a broken nose, right? And so that doesn't affect as much, but it sends him. I mean, it sends him into an intense pain as you kind of retch him, and you basically knock him unconscious.
Cool.
Right, and he just kind of goes down. His neck doesn't break, but you're able to twist him enough to kind of shock him, and he goes down. Right, and so
I really didn't want to kill him anyway.
Well, and you're kind of like as he crumples under your jump and kind of come down, you crumple on top of him, and you're just kind of in a prone position. But as that's happening, somebody else tries to take a swipe at you and hit you, and they just hit a glancing blow. And again, it's like bruised status 1, so it's going to bump your scratched and your bruised up to let's see, hurting status 2.
Can I try to maneuver out of it before he hit me?
Do you want to? Well, so you didn't take superior position, so they can't hit you back. So that's why that's getting invoked.
Yeah, I just didn't think the guy was so close. That's why.
Okay. Well, so the other guy off to the side was recovering from trying to hit you before, and he kind of moved in. So you've got a tier status 2 of hurting. We're gonna cut to Henry.
Okay, so she's taken one of these guys down.
Yes.
Have I opened a way for us to get to escape by taking out the 2 in front of us, or how are they positioned? Are they encircling us?
The ones coming from the right are definitely kind of pushing forward, following up after the guy that's trying to hit, or that just grazed essentially Charlie. Those other 4 are kind of scattered a little bit, and there's a little bit of an opening, but Charlie's kind of sitting on top of somebody and just been hit again, and Sethana's just kind of standing there almost in a trance state as she's dealing with this.
He is going to start gaining momentum in the sense that he's going to start spinning around. Like, he takes the bat and he starts spinning and spinning, kind of like cartoonish, where they have the bat and they start spinning. He's going to start trying to gain momentum to see if he can knock the guys kind of encircling away as well. If you know what I'm talking about, so he's going to.
I know what you're trying to do. I'm just trying to envision Henry doing this. That's what I'm trying to get to. So, sell it to me even more how he's able to take this heavy bat in an alley where there are 2 cars and you've got Sathana.
There's cars.
Yeah, there are cars in front of you.
Fuck that! He's gonna hit the fucking cars towards those guys. He's gonna gain the momentum, not spinning. He's just gonna hit that car with all he's got to send the car flying towards the other group.
Okay.
I totally forgot that there was 2 cars there, but like now those are more things that I can hit at them.
Okay. Perfect.
So he already has a superior position because he readied that from the last one. He kind of lunges forward like he did before, trying to gain that momentum. The vines create this kind of arm that helps push off the ground, keeping the momentum going, and he's going to swing it at the. Now, are these cars? If the alley is like this, are the cars like this or like this?
Are you talking about in the? Hold on.
Yeah,
you're on the game table. Hold on just a second. Let me take a look.
Yeah, no, that I'm trying to. Are they parallel or perpendicular with the walls of the alleyway?
Hold on a second. No. It's a narrow alleyway. They're perpendicular. They're parallel. They're parallel.
Okay, so he's going to hit it from the underneath of the hood, trying to give it an extra push to have it fly into the air and start. Essentially, he wants to lift it and have the car fall on top of these other guys and kind of take them out.
Okay, we'll hit him with all we got. Let's see what happens.
So Briar Weapon, Ebb and Flow, and Evasive Footwork.
Okay.
I give him assistance with Ties of Fortune.
No. Okay. Not in this particular case, because there's an effect that is in play.
Will I be able to call obstacles because I'm using the environment and one of the obstacles is the car? Because if this car lands, it would cause an obstacle for everyone else. If that's too much of a reach, I can pull it back. I'll just use the 3.
I don't think it works in that way just because there's a potential for collateral damage.
Okay. That's
fine. Yeah.
All right. Hit him with all I got. So great success. Collateral damage. Can I make the car explode? It hits so hard that it kind of sets on fire.
Was it a Michael Bay car?
It's a Michael Bay car.
Sure, but there will be a consequence if you do it that. I'm gonna let you know now.
Oh yeah, there's Charlie right there, and she's gonna get like 4th degree burns.
Well, you're knocking the car at them towards the left, correct?
Yes. Well, whoever's starting to circle up, you know. And you said you said the 4 on the left.
I said the 4 on the left are the ones who were scattered, and that was your opening. Oh. The 5 on the right are the ones that were kind of pushing in, but Charlie's that direction.
Okay. So he's going to set it to the 4 on the left so he can avoid Charlie as collateral damage.
Okay.
He's going to get him good. Let's see. I can get many of them, +1 tier, and I have 3 power. Can I spend all 3 of them on those guys and get them
This
hit?
isn't a situation where it's a juice. You only get 2.
Oh, I only get 2.
Yeah, you
Could-
get to choose 2 abilities from that list.
All right. Can I get them good and get them pinned underneath the car? I mean, they probably have superhuman strength that they could lift the car, but it at least takes them out for a bit.
So they're already scattered and starting to regroup. This will definitely inflict some more damage on them. So like the car, you're going to flip the car, right? You're basically hitting it so that you're going to flip the car, right?
Yeah.
And so the car kind of flips and goes end over end and lands on 2 of them who are just beginning to recover from, having to jump out of the way from
The trash can.
The trash can, right? And it also prevents the other 2 from kind of, moving forward. But you've pinned 2 of them right now, and the other 2 can't seem to get around the car right now.
Okay. Yeah, no, that makes good. So that'll be get them good for the pin, and then secure superior position because they have to get over the car to get to me. Would that work?
I'm like, okay, so you get them good, right?
Okay.
Right? And then I thought you were going to do collateral damage.
No, because if I did collateral damage to make it explode, I understand exactly what that bad consequence would be. We're in a narrow alleyway. That's not going to end up well. So he's just going to try to get them good and secure superior position.
Okay, great. Then we're gonna as that happens, we're gonna cut over to Sathana.
Okay.
Cool. Do we have a way? Can we leave? Now that you've knocked this car out of the way, is there still an easy?
He's blocked your way basically. Because they can't get in, you can't really get out that way.
All right. As I'm coming back to my senses, I look around. Are we in a courtyard? Or are we just in an alleyway?
You're just in an alleyway.
Okay, so one side of our alleyway is blocked by a car.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. What about the other way?
The other way there's a car there, and there are 5 individuals. There are 5 of these guys coming your direction. But
Sweet. I look up. What's around?
there's the roof of the junkyard, and then there's another building that's a 2-story building.
2 stories, huh?
Yep.
Is there a fire escape?
No, there's not a fire escape on this part of the alley. No.
Is there a pipe?
Of course, there's a pipe. There's a pipe
Window
drain.
ledges?
Well, I can climb that. That's
I'm
not...
sorry. What?
Window ledges?
Who
Yes,
window?
there are window ledges. They're on the 2nd floor.
who designed this in this city with all these exposed pipes? I mean, come on, teenagers can just climb up that shit, especially if they're blind.
Hi.
But if
It's a dream.
It's a hobby.
so there is a
You've never heard of pipe climbing? Did you not grow up doing?
No, I'm afraid of heights.
Okay. Cool. I'm going to turn to Henry briefly. It's like, if you could get us some sort of ladder up there, that'd be pretty good. I'll see what I can do about getting these guys to piss off.
Okay. Well, let's see. And then Henry will just ready the bat kind of pointed upwards. And at the end of the bat, these 5 little digits begin to protrude and create some kind of a hand as this hand begins to snake its way on top of to the top of the roof and grab onto the corner of the roof.
Okay, so that's going to be a change the game when the spotlight's on Henry.
Yeah.
We're going to go back to Sathana and figure out what Sathana is going to do now that she's got Henry working on an escape plan.
I'm gonna go to take a couple of steps towards where the 5 of them are they just running at us now? Are they?
They are now very close, right? They're in range of Charlie, and they're going to get to the rest of you within seconds.
Okay. I'm gonna stand in front of them. I'm. Oh, this is so stupid. I'm gonna turn to them and I'm gonna say, your father is in danger. And if you don't go to him now, he's probably gonna die. Or at least if you don't turn around now, we'll finish you and then we're gonna go kill him. And I want them to be shaken enough that they turn and go back to wherever their father, progenitor, whatever it is I want them to leave.
What is this?
I'm gonna go with either change the game or convince.
Seems like more of a convince to me than anything else.
Cool.
So, with a convince, what plays in your favor here? What power tags are you invoking?
Conflict. I want them to do the flight parts of fight and float. Could I argue Odin's insight, considering the vision I just had? Because I wouldn't have known about the guy that they came from without that vision from the battlefield.
Sure.
I'm guessing you're going to say that's not long enough to be a monologue.
Nope.
Damn it. Need to talk more. It's not like I can sit on a bar in a conversation. They're about to attack us.
Make that one of your powers. You summon a bar and you're like sitting there and then you can. That'd be cool.
Need to change
Summon a.
one-liner. Maybe that will be my next upgrade. Could I also argue Tale from the Dead? Because that's literally where this information came from.
That's a hard one because it was a vision for the Valkyrie, but it wasn't a tale of death. Not in the sense.
There was death around, but it wasn't actually a tale of death. It was technically a tale of birth, I guess.
It was a tale of battle, so I guess that technically counts as. All right, sure, you can take it, but you are going to take 2 weaknesses.
2 weaknesses?
Oh yeah.
One, I assume, is fear of becoming a Valkyrie, because I always have that.
Absolutely.
And what do you think the other is?
Guilt.
Or is it because of them? Guilt. Alright.
Guilt. And here's why I think it's guilt, because you used family to invoke, fear in them, to motivate them, and because
Yep.
you're the relationship and the situation and the guilt that you feel over Ollie, I think definitely factors in here.
I'll take that. That's definitely more than fair. I'll take that. All right. So we're going with convince. Nope. Every time I try to do something cool.
Okay, so let's see. As a hard move against you, what did you actually roll? You rolled a 2 and a 1. That's I feel bad for you, but not that bad, because they continued. They kind of, as you're speaking to them, they kind of shrug it off. But as they're shrugging it off and continuing to move forward, Henry, you notice that the bat is bleeding.
Henry stops at the sight of the blood leaking from the bat. He kind of freezes up.
Okay, and we're gonna cut to Charlie as you're freezing up. Charlie, you're on the ground. You're ready for you're ready for the next move, and these 5 guys are just kind of shook off whatever Sathana said to them.
I'm gonna run and climb up the drain pipe. By team. By team. Yeah.
Okay. So that seems to be taking a risk because you'd be exposing yourself to their attack potentially.
Fine. That's fine. I will. Outgoing agility. No, not martial arts. Outgoing agility. Fear. Always getting up.
Okay.
Perfect short range target. And Sensing the finest detail of how to climb.
Sensing the finest detail, I think, definitely applies. I'm not sure about perfect short-range target, and the reason is because you're not actually making an attack or attempting to do...
It's a, like, I'm gonna run and, like, grab onto it, basically. Like, it's, like, for me, perfect short-range target isn't always, like, a person. It's, like, whatever she's going after, in a sense of, like, because she's blind, she, like, needs to make sure she targets onto whatever she's doing.
Okay. All right. That makes sense.
But I guess I could be ignoring the danger of, like, just running and...
Okay, sure. And because you invoked that,
Yeah.
go ahead and mark the attention. And that reminds me again, I will make sure to talk to you guys about that after the session tonight. It's just...
Okay, so that's 3.
Okay. So that's 3. Go ahead and roll it. Unless you've got more.
Was it taking a risk?
Yeah, it's take a risk. Great success.
Okay. I like pipes.
Phrasing. Okay. Yeah. All right. So you run and describe to me what it's like when you make this move, and describing ultimately where you land.
On top of the building. And I just, like, run and, like, scurry up the drain pipe, like, using, you know, my body strength.
Okay. All right. So as you're kind of scrambling up the drain pipe, you're making this move. The one of the 5 kind of behind you, kind of, you know, has pulled a gun and starts firing, and it just... shots are just kind of ricocheting around you, but you're just scrambling so quickly, and you're up and over and onto the other side, and you can see that the 4 are continuing to move forward towards Sathana and Charlie, or sorry, to Henry. Like, you sense that, you know, as you feel the vibrations of it, and the 5th one is trying to move towards the drain pipe.
Is there anything on this roof, like a rock, a paint can, anything?
There's some debris up here.
Like, big enough to throw?
Probably.
Yeah, I'm gonna throw something down and try to hit the guy moving towards the drain pipe.
Okay. So hold on to that, and we're gonna cut to Henry.
Okay.
All right. So Henry's you've just noticed that the bat is bleeding. It's frozen.
Yep.
Or you're frozen because the blood is bleeding.
I'm frozen. A million things are rushing through my head. Oh my God, she's dead. Oh my God, what have I done? Oh my God, why am I in this mess? I should have just stayed home that one night. Should have just stayed home, stayed out of it. Why did I follow all of this? Just a million things. And then he realizes that they're about to be swarmed by these goons. Sathana is still in the thick of it, kind of.
Oh yeah, she just tried to, you know, verbally, you know, berate them, and it failed, and they continued on coming towards her. So
he holds the bat aloft, and this arm reaches over and grabs the top of the junkyard. It's coming from the end of the bat. This arm, it's formed and shot out kind of like a grappling hook. He's going to take his armored arm and fire it off like a grappling hook as well.
Okay.
Towards Sathana to grab her, and then kind of jerk her back towards him, and then jerk him up. So it's kind of like a 1-2 up onto the roof kind of deal.
All right, so you're going to change the game then? Is that what I'm hearing?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, obstacles, because it's not really a weapon.
Okay.
The grappling hook coming from the bat. Briar defense, because the arm going out towards Sathana is trying to pull her away from danger.
Okay.
Let's see. Ebb and flow, so because I'm trying to make an accurate shot towards Sathana, this isn't reckless. And I think evasive footwork would work as well because he's trying to get out of the situation.
Okay.
Okay. I'm going to give myself a -1 status, not invoking any weakness, because I'm feeling guilty. Even though I should add that as a weakness tag, but I haven't progressed.
Well, so
Henry doesn't care about Julius Sables, but it's still a life that he is potentially harmed.
well, that's why I would say that it's actually invoking pacifism.
Pacifism?
In some way, because pacifism generally boils down to do no harm, right?
Yeah, so he's going to do that, mark attention to training. And then we're going to change the game. Great success. So I get two juice?
3
juice.
Sorry, you get 4 juice, actually, because it's a great success, right? So the first power tag,
Oh, yeah.
remember,
yeah.
it converts from 1 to 2, so that's 2 juice initially for the first power tag, and then 2 more.
Okay. So, 1 juice, grab Sethana.
Okay.
1 juice, grab the building.
Okay. So that's those. So the story tag is protected or withdrawn for Sathan, or yeah, for Sathana.
Yeah, yeah.
And then the second one is going to be a story tag of, I would say, like grapple, right?
Yeah. I'm gonna bank the 2 juice just in case I need it anywhere till the end of the scene.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay. So Sethana's up on the roof with me. That's
Actually,
the
so
end game.
So it would be, let's say that there's a third juice that you're going to need to spend for the 2 of you to be able to get up there, right? That's
okay.
We'll call that a story tag of escaped.
Yeah. Any other improvement you and the MC agree on? So we'll do a third juice to get up on top of the roof.
Perfect. All right, and so you still got 1 juice to spend, and so
Yep.
so Charlie, as you are, you grab for something that you can feel like the vibration of, you grab it and you move forward. You see Charlie or Henry and Sathana kind of being grabbed, or Sathana being grabbed, and then Henry just kind of moving up, onto the roof, sort of catching Sathana by surprise, giving you a moment to do what you're going to do next to that 5th guy.
I'm going to throw down some sort of debris at him.
Okay.
Maybe if there's like a paint can bucket, I'm gonna throw it and maybe land it like over his head.
Okay.
So his head gets stuck in a paint can bucket.
So, all right.
Is his head too big?
No, I won't. I mean,
Okay.
I don't know if it's going to stick on him, but yeah, it's going to hit him if you.
Well,
if you
I'm
hit
hoping there's some paint in it as well.
All right. Why don't you roll? I think this is going to be.
Depending on the roll.
Yeah. What kind of a move do you think this is going to be?
Just hit him with all you got.
Okay.
Since his finest detail. Since his finest detail, perfect short range target. Always gets up martial arts and outgoing agility.
Okay.
5. I don't think any of my apply any of my weakness tags.
Okay.
All right. Let's roll. Why didn't it roll? There. 17.
All right. So you basically knock the guy down, right, with the tier status. Even if, yeah, I mean, you're going to distract him
Okay.
enough. You're going to distract him enough just with that to be able
All
to,
right.
to kind of pull him out of the scene for the moment.
I
What do you want to do with
wanna-
those? What do you want to do with those 2?
I want the paint to. I want there to be collateral damage, and the paint to get all over the guys' nice suits,
Okay.
and like in their eyes, and like in their mouth.
Okay.
You're seeing, and then, I'm gonna secure a position, secure a superior position by pushing the drain pipe down.
Okay.
So they can't come up that way.
All right.
Not
So
the-
okay.
Yeah.
So as you throw the paint down, it kind of splatters everywhere, kind of getting on the 5 of them. The can hits the one guy, and kind of knocks him, kind of clueless for the moment, right? And he's disoriented. They're just trying to figure as he's covered in paint, and then you push off that drain pipe, preventing them from climbing up. Okay, guys. For the moment, you are still in the fight, but you have a moment to breathe. What are the three of you doing?
No. Let's run. We're gonna start. I'm guessing we're gonna start making our way across rooftops, trying to get away.
Yeah, we're gonna.
Yep. We move really fucking fast.
Okay.
The bat kind of recedes itself, and like the bat kind of sheds its outer layer to drop Julia's sables onto the ground, and then kind of throws all of that like excess that just shed itself. It's going to throw and try to cast itself towards the opposite roof to create a vine that we could walk on.
Okay, one, that's going to be a change the game.
Mhm,
Two,
yeah.
as this begins to happen, you see that Julia Sable is bleeding very badly from a head wound. Like it's coming out pretty good. It's not gushing. It's not like you hit an artery, but it's clearly there's a lot of blood coming out of her head.
It should be fine.
I look to
I take it off and I hand it.
yeah, I look at the torque and I grab the torque and I place it and I start imbuing will into it. I think this is all going to be part of one giant change the game.
It's going to be a pretty gigantic change the game. You better roll really well.
Yeah.
Get a 17 like I did.
All this going, no evasive footwork, no ebb and flow.
Could I help to change her fortune?
No. Again, there's something in play here.
Medical student, magical healing and regenerative properties on the relic, and we're going to unclick Briar Defense because we're not doing anything that's making defense from the wood. So change the game.
Nope. Hold on.
Oh, okay.
Pacifism is still in play because she is bleeding profusely, and you're very aware of the circumstances of the injury that you caused her.
Yep, and that's a good thing because I left to check. I forgot to uncheck it. So it's a mild success.
Okay, so you get to spend 3 tags, and remember, you still have 1 juice left
Yeah.
from the previous
so
change the game.
1 juice to reduce. Okay, so we're going to call it the floating juice. The floating juice is going to be used to remove a tier from the head wound status.
Okay.
Okay. Now we're back on to the available resource, which is 3. Correct?
Yep, I'm ready.
Okay. 2 to stabilize Julia, removing 2 more statuses, and then 1 to create the vine bridge.
So you reduce the status by 3 times, and then you create the vine bridge.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I have to think of it in separate activations. So.
Okay. Well, I understand that, but you have a pool of 4 that you can spend right here. That's why I'm just trying to clarify the number of things that are going on. Okay, so you were able to reduce the bleeding such that it's stopped. She still looks like she's in bad shape. You begin to move across the bridge you know, that you've created to the next thing, and as gunfire is starting to pelt at you guys. You're each going to have to face danger.
Okay.
So we're going to start with Sathana, actually.
Okay. Flight or flight?
Okay.
Sorry, forgive me like half a second. What is the immediate danger that we're facing?
Gunfire.
Oh, conflict. No, I think that might be it.
Are you sure, really?
Yeah, I mean, she's not sharing grief with anyone right now. She's not trying to actively change her fortune. She's just dodging being shot at.
Yeah, that's you. Yeah, I'm looking at your stuff. I agree.
The only other thing I could probably think of would be probably insight to find out what they're about to do next. But that's not really, unless she's going to turn back and look at them. I don't think she would do that right now. It's more a case of, oh, holy crap, we're getting shot at. So
Right.
I think it wouldn't be in line with who she is to do that. So
Okay.
I think just two. We're not in the drinking hall anymore.
Nope.
Yes, she is wasted, but she hasn't drunk anything recently. So yeah, I think just two.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right. On that face danger.
Great success. Okay, so you're able to move forward across the Vine Bridge and get onto the next building as the gunfire is kind of coming at you from below, and you're able to kind of make your way across, and then moving on top of that next building. Henry, why don't you go ahead and roll next?
I hear the shots go off. Do I have time to react? This is me reacting, basically.
This is you facing danger.
Okay, so he is going to jump onto the Vine Bridge, and as he jumps on, he's going to immediately jump over to the next building, and he's going to start getting to run in a serpentine.
You're facing the danger of the bullets coming at you. You don't really have time to react to anything but deal with the fact that you're being shot at. That's what face danger is. Just that there's an attack that's going to either hit you or miss you based on your roll.
He's going to try to spin out of the way.
Okay, so what power tags does that mean?
Ebb and flow, evasive footwork, and that's about it.
Briar defense doesn't come into play at all here because you're running
across.
Oh
yeah. Well, yeah, and I'm wearing the armor.
Okay.
So.
All right. Cool.
I still have my armor on.
All right. And I don't think any of your weakness tags apply.
Yeah.
Okay. Roll it.
11.
That's
great
weird.
Success.
Didn't update at the same time. Okay, so you're able to kind of spin and turn and just kind of move and get your way across, and you'll be able to do something after Charlie gets across and as does this. Charlie, you're following. You're following at the rear. Gunfire coming at you.
So since it's the finest detail, perfect short range target, filtering out the noise to hear the bullets. Wait, okay. Not perfect short range target.
Okay.
Always gets up because I'm already injured, and outgoing agility.
Okay.
Oh, and I want to use I know these streets to use the building as cover.
Okay. I think that it's ignoring danger as a weakness tag, though.
How? I'm not going into danger.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, you're right.
Like, yeah, normally if ignore danger means going into danger, I'm actually like not ignoring it.
No, that's perfectly fine. That's all good.
But I may have sensory overload with the bullets, like.
It's not a cacophony of bullet fires, okay. So I wouldn't. It's not like the clubs. The bar scene where there was a bunch of noise, like there was a bunch of things going on. So.
3, 4, 5. Okay, cool. And this is facing danger.
Yes, it's facing danger.
16.
All right, so Charlie,
Oh,
you're able to get across that bridge as well, right? And so
Yeah.
you've now the three of you have kind of put yourselves in a situation where you're a little bit farther from the gunfire and from the exposed area. So you can see that you've got an escape path just along these buildings, based on the way Charlie started running in whatever direction. You can make the attempt to escape here, or you can engage them and they're below you, like they're in the alley still.
We're gonna escape. Well, I'm gonna escape. My vote is for escaping.
I agree. I want to escape as well.
Okay.
Yep.
What about Sathana?
Do you want to
Sure.
fight him? I mean, we can fight him.
No.
I'd rather get out of this alive and, deal with Sable than...
Yeah, I mean,
I
could slow them down, but there's no point. We might as well just run.
Are you sure? You don't sound like you're sure.
I'm never sure. No, I'm good. I'll run.
Okay.
It's only a stupid idea, and they haven't been working out for me the last 3 episodes, so I'm gonna go with the rest of them.
I'm just curious. What's your stupid idea?
I wanted to use partial discharge to electrocute them with my sword.
I'd be very curious how that worked, but I'm going to agree with you. You probably should. You probably should just keep going.
I'll link you an interesting article.
Okay then.
Sure.
All right. Anyways, so the gunfire continues. They're trying to figure out where you guys are, but eventually you're able to sneak across a bunch of buildings and evade them for the moment. And you kind of leave them behind, and you've got a moment to breathe as you're standing on a rooftop, on the edge of Tinseltown and downtown. What do you guys want to do?
Are we taking her back to your place?
Are you? I go over and I place a hand on Sathana's head. I'm like, no, you don't seem to be running a fever. Then you must be crazy. I'm not bringing this woman back to my apartment. You want to ask her questions if we're not going to kill her, which I really hope we don't. But, if we're not going to kill her, I'd rather her not know where I live.
He makes a fair point.
All right. Sure. She'll
And
pull
do
out-
you think it'd be wise having the person who's looking for Rosalind be in the same room as Rosalind?
Well, you've got it blindfolded, right?
I mean, she also is heavily concussed.
Right. Round 2. I can see that you don't want to use your house as a meeting place. Fine.
We can go use a
Where are we
warehouse. I know exactly where we're going. We're going to go to this warehouse that I know of. I usually hide out there during the winter.
Sure.
Want to take her back to her place where you hibernate? Do you think that's a good idea?
I mean, it's not winter yet.
Yeah, but if she comes to and finds out, you could be in danger come winter, right? Or wherever it is, or whenever it is you hibernate. If
I
you hibernate.
kind of sigh and I look back at Sathana and say, I don't think I would be the one in danger come winter.
You've got some real. Mhm. Alright.
I have real problems. I understand that. And I'm working through them every day of my life. All right, let's take him back to this warehouse. So this warehouse is probably on the waterfront district.
Okay. Tell us about it.
It's an old shipping and receiving warehouse. It's for a company that has been bankrupt and nobody else has bought it. There are stories that there have been worker murders in that warehouse, where the boss would take these workers that were performing under par and go and murder them. Some say that the warehouse is still haunted. That's why nobody's bought it up yet. because nobody wants to buy haunted property unless they're complete murder nut.
You said it's on the waterfront, like it's in the docks, right?
Yeah, it's a shipping receiving for imports and exports.
Was a shipping receiving for imports and exports. Okay, and you think that it's abandoned at this point?
Yes, from what last time he saw that warehouse would have been last winter.
Okay.
So it
Yeah.
may not be empty.
So as you're kind of pulling up, you notice that there is a white van parked outside of this building.
Oh, goody.
Ah, there we go. The white van. Charlie, you're good at stealing cars.
Yes.
We could keep her in the van. It'd be like a mobile fortress. Not really a fortress, more like a mobile hideout. But then again, never mind. They have license plates and registration and whatnot. Unless, of course, they're not, and it's a stolen vehicle already.
But
I
then
don't know.
we'd be stealing a stolen vehicle that's probably already been looked for.
Right. What is this? Is it just a blank white van?
It looks like your typical '80s van, blacked out windows in the back.
I drag Julia Sables on my. Well, I'm not dragging. I'm carrying her. She's kind of like. It's like a Julia Sables backpack,
Like a papoose.
like a papoose.
I'm listening. Go ahead.
And he goes up to the van and he knocks on the window.
From behind you, at the door to the building, you see a sort of balding man dressed in a button-up shirt, slacks, wearing boots. Can I help you?
Yes. I was wondering, is this the fabled haunted
Did
warehouse?
something just happen to the stream? Oh no, I think we're back.
Did something just happen to the stream? No, we're fine.
It just lagged
I think you're lagging, kid.
poor for me. Okay, sorry for
No.
interrupting. I just thought it died.
No worries. Guy looks at you and says, "Yeah."
Oh, I was here a couple of months ago during the winter. Was this recently purchased?
I have no idea.
Oh, well, might we come in?
What are you doing near my van?
Oh, I saw the van parked outside. I wanted to make sure. I wanted to make sure whoever was in there wasn't, incapacitated. The windows are dark. I couldn't tell. They're just idling outside an abandoned warehouse.
My
You know,
vehicle
you
isn't
never know
on.
if somebody's. I mean, you're parked right. Okay, what are you doing here? Got a
None of your-
question.
None of your business, sir.
All right, then what I'm doing here in front of your van is none of your business as well.
Pulls out a gun,
God
Cocks
dang
it.
it! What is with guns today?
holds it in front of him. He's not pointing it at you. He's just cocked it and holding it in front of him at his. Basically, kind of in his hands in front of him. Hands like in front, crossed.
Why
All right.
don't we all put this down to a really crappy day, and everyone just go back about their business? I mean, you don't really want to shoot him because that'll eventually get you in trouble, and to be honest, it's not that big of a deal. So why don't everyone just back off, just take a moment, and we can just go about our day like, like this little thing never happened. Because otherwise, it's gonna be a really bad spot and a really crappy day for me.
If he leaves my van and you leave this premise, then there's not going to be a problem.
Yeah, let's just leave.
See, no
Just-
qualms, no problems. I'd like stand in front of Henry, like begin to put my hands on his chest, like, see, we can just keep walking, like there's not a problem.
And Henry is being pushed by Sathana. But that's my warehouse.
Yeah,
we
well,
can get you a
yeah.
new one. We'll get you a new warehouse. Don't worry about it. It's gonna be fine. Everything's gonna be good. Either that, or we're gonna be dead, or in a grave, or we're gonna find somewhere new and run. It doesn't really matter. It's just 4 walls and a roof. Okay, just keep walking.
Does Charlie see, or does Charlie hear any empty warehouses around here?
There's
As
a ton
we're,
of
like,
there's a ton of empty warehouses around here, but as you're kind of leaving the scene, you see that the guy kind of, or you all see that the guy walks over to the van, kind of checks it, and starts putting on some weird booties onto his boots.
Not my problem.
I look back. Wait. What is it? Is he putting
Henry,
on...
keep walking. Keep walking. It's not our problem.
He's killing somebody.
We have way bigger problems. Keep walking.
It's not our problem.
He has sanitation booties. Unless, of course, he's cleaning. But that would only be if you didn't want to leave footprints. And he's killing somebody in my warehouse. That asshole.
Or he's cleaning up your warehouse for you. Either way.
Yeah, maybe he's cleaning it.
There.
He's probably just cleaning it. You know, it needs a deep clean every once in a while.
Yeah, exactly. Keep walking. Just,
Fine,
we'll find something
fine.
new.
There, the sardine, warehouse
Yes.
for Poseidon sardines. We'll just go in here. Nobody likes sardines, anyways.
Oh, well, it's gonna overwhelm Charlie's smell sense.
Mm-hmm.
It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
So you
All right.
step inside the warehouse, and it's mostly empty.
Mostly.
Mostly empty. There's some debris over it, but it is an abandoned warehouse. Looks like it was a cannery used for canning, fish at this point. They're sardines, so.
This place smells great.
Well, I'm sorry. We would have had an excellent empty warehouse, but somebody is murdering or doing something in my warehouse.
It's cleaning. It's just a nice deep clean, and then you'll have a nice warehouse for winter, freshly cleaned.
Besides, you really don't want what we probably gonna need to do to her to happen in the place where you chill out during the winter.
For some weird reason.
Yeah. Not sure what the hell it's all about, for sure.
No.
So, some of you cold might want to learn, might want to know. So those gray suited guys, they're all duplicates of one slightly older dude, and I think they may be Legion of some sort. I need to drink more.
So, wait.
So if we kill the old dude, does that mean all these Goonies go away?
I don't know. He seemed pretty intently thinking about him. I mean, gotta go find him.
So,
I find that interesting.
So would a lobotomy work?
I think most things are useless without their heads, so maybe we could do that to him. Maybe I don't know. Also, Roz's friend Cal, I texted him to let him know we got the bitch. Says that she will have our scent soon, so we should probably kill her if we don't want her to kill us. I mean, I'm waiting to see if he's going to text back and actually ask a question, see if he can learn something too, because, we might as well try and make friends here. But, yeah.
Mm.
And then she drinks a bit more.
I look down at a Sable. Henry can hear the heartbeat kind of like rush when Sethana said kill. He starts feeling that little nagging impulse in the back. Yeah, you're she's absolutely right, Henry. We could kill her. You and I, just boom, dead. Think of all the people that she's killed. Reasonably. Think of all the people you're gonna save if you just kill her. And look, she's not even awake. It's totally humane. It's like putting down a cat. Euthanize her. It's okay. She was a trash human being anyways. Went after kids. Almost killed Juggy. Almost killed Charlie. Yeah, no. You could just one little thorn right there on the artery. Just scratch it. then it's all over. Henry's kind of just sitting there, staring at Julia, and he shakes himself. We need information. Like,
Yeah.
why is Anatoly telling Sables to? Well, why? Who is Anatoly, and why does he, assuming he's the one who wants Roslyn and Chow? Why is he going after powered people, champions?
I mean, she also knows about the Daria sisters.
This is also true. She also killed Walker.
Yeah. That's what we learned. Okay. Let's, we need to secure her down. We need to get her awake.
Henry, can you wrap vines around her so she can't move?
She already has vines around her.
Okay, can you make them extra strong?
Yes, I can add another layer. And he does.
Sounds great. And then Charlie walks around the warehouse trying to find an old can of sardines.
So the vines kind of like create kind of almost like an Egyptian kind of coffin almost, you know, where it covers everything but the face is covered in vines.
Mm-hmm.
And there are two vine-like hands that kind of cover her eyes to keep her from looking at us.
Okay.
Does Charlie find an old can of sardines?
You find stuff that smell like sardines, yes.
Like really badly of sardines?
Yes.
Okay, so I grab like an old can or whatever smells like it, and I go up to her and I put it under her nose. Like smelling salts, it's so gross.
Doesn't wake up. She took a really bad head injury, guys. It's going to take more than just sardines or smelling salts to wake her up.
I flick her nose.
I place a wooden hand onto her face. She's still wearing my torque, and I imbue my will through her as a conduit into the torque, so it kind of creates kind of a pulsing vibration from the torque to my hand back and forth, kind of flowing over her entire body. He's going to attempt to remove any physical status effects that he can. And it's going to be a change to the game.
Okay.
So magical healing, ebb and flow, and medical student.
Okay.
And we're going to change the game. Mild success.
Okay, so... oh, wow. That's actually... How many did you click?
I
Ebb and
clicked
flow...
medical student, magical healing, and regen, because it's not winter, so it's not degen.
Okay. All right.
So that was just a really bad roll on the 2d6, a 2 and a 1. Yeah. So I get 4 juice.
You get 4 juice to spend on the first 3.
Okay. First 3, which is inflict a status, create or summon new objects, or add a temporary tag to one character, object, or location. I'm going to add a temporary tag to Sable, which is the Torque's healing.
Okay.
Meaning that it probably is not healing her immediately, but it will start healing her, kind of deal.
Okay.
Let's see. Create or summon new objects. I feel like at this point, Henry would have noticed that we're kind of out in the open in this warehouse. So he's going to try to make a dome of vines to just kind of block the. If she was able to wake up, maybe break out, she wouldn't know that she was in a sardine. She probably would be able to smell fish, but there wouldn't be like any real vista, I guess.
She can smell the sardines because Charlie put a can of sardines under her nose.
Yeah.
So
So
like that doesn't mean she knows where she is.
Yeah.
Guess where she is.
She's a cat. We noticed that she had a feline face. Cats like fish. And then I can't inflict a status. If I were to inflict this now, there's nothing bad happening to inflict a status of regen, but that's already on there. So I guess put another one, tier 2.
why? Wait a minute. No. That. Hold on.
You said I could do the first 3. So.
Yeah. But you're confusing me here. But the first thing that you did was you're using all these tags to heal her,
Yeah.
right, and change the game. So and then the first thing that you did was you reduced whatever status, or you essentially inflicted a story tag on her.
Yeah.
That she's going to be conscious of that, very quickly.
Can I take that one multiple times and just put it? But story tags don't have tiers.
They don't have tiers. Why don't you inflict the 2, or just drop the 2 that you've done, and then hold on to the other 2 in this situation? You don't have to spend the 4 right now.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, so I'm just gonna drop 1, bank 2.
Okay, great. So no, you're going to drop 2.
Drop
and
2.
you're gonna hold 2.
Okay.
Right, because you rolled 4 power tags. You got 4
Yep.
juice for that. Okay. All right. Excellent. All right. Does anybody else want to do anything else as this is happening?
Other than no, I don't think so, because he seems to have this healing stuff in hand. There's a big dome of weirdness going around them. Until she wakes up, there's not
Much we can do.
As I'm saying that, there might be. So she's completely bound, right? She's not moving anywhere.
If she wakes up, she's in like a coffin. She's in like a sarcophagus with her face is the only thing exposed, but it has 2 wooden hands over her eyes.
So her head can't really even move around.
No, she is basically in traction.
Excellent. Could I?
In a full body casket.
I've been given information recently that she has killed Gerald Walker. Yes, that was the information I was given. Could I ask for his help in questioning her?
Sell that to me, because that's a really hard sell.
So, one of the tags I have, which is Tale from the Dead, being that those that have died or have died as a result of someone else are able to contact me, or I'm able to contact them, so I can get more information about what is going on. Could I ask for his help so I can get some more information about her and the things she's done, so we can use it as a, we know this much about you, we know a lot, give us more, so I can kind of unsettle her with that information.
You're still not selling it to me on the. All you're telling me is that you have this ability to talk to the dead, and that you're going to call out to the dead, and the dead's going to come to you. That seems pretty vague. I need a very specific. I don't need a specific so much as I need a stronger narrative description about how that works.
Oh, okay. So Sethana would reach out and touch, because I think most of this stuff for her is going to be based on touch. I don't think she's at the point where she can't do it without that yet. She's going to reach out and touch Sables, and she's going to focus on the death that surrounds her. So focus on like the personal battlefield that she would have around her, of all the people and the things that she's killed and destroyed, and try and kind of like link to that, and from there look around and see who is on that battlefield that she can ask for help from.
Okay, you just changed it from who's on that battlefield to that from Gerald Walker. So
Yeah,
are you
so
looking? Are you looking for anybody that she's murdered? Or are you looking for?
She's specifically looking for Gerald.
Okay. This is a real push, since you have zero connection to that particular individual at all. So, yes, but there's going to be a negative status effect on it for the roll.
I'll take it.
Okay. So the negative status effect is... let's see. It'll be a story tag, and it'll be... What's the appropriate way to describe this? Uncertainty. We're going to call it a story tag of uncertainty because not only have you never done this before, it's a situation where you have zero connection to this person at all. Like you may know of them based on your work with MCX and their association potentially with the Walker Foundation, but you never actually met this person. You have no personal connection to this guy. So
You wouldn't know who she's literally looking for. She wouldn't know what he looks like. So
she would know what he looks like because he would have been in the papers, but she would have no personal connection. You never would have experienced this person on the field of battle, quote unquote, right? So
yeah, because he's already passed on. It's not someone that she knows the essence of.
correct.
Okay.
And so, what kind of a role is this?
I'm thinking probably change the game, because having someone from her past helping to feed us information will probably be something that's really unsettling and very useful for us. I couldn't see it as an investigate or a convince or anything. At least that's what my gut is.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, as an investigate, that makes sense. Or change the game, whichever you want to do. I'm sorry, I'm looking at your character sheet. I'm trying to understand what power tags you're going to apply here. So,
Tell from the dead. The dead have no need to lie.
yep.
I think that's probably the two.
Are you sure that Odin's insight wouldn't help here?
Yeah, probably. But
Okay.
that's insight on her specifically, I guess.
All right. So now I have two questions for you about weakness tags.
Yep.
Do the dead find you terrifying? Do the souls do the souls of the living who have passed on in any way, shape, or form find you terrifying?
I wouldn't have thought so. I think the terrifying comes more from the living than from the dead.
Okay.
Because she is guiding them to their next place. She's not their adversary. She's not their foe when they've passed on. When they've passed on, she is there to help them to the next place.
Okay.
So I think she'd be more friendly than terrifying to them, because they've got nothing to fear from her at this point.
Excellent. Okay. And so the other question, the other weakness tag is, since this is another element of, and it's not one of those fantastical elements, more as this is a sort of one of those quiet moment elements, but this is still a situation where you're more accepting the Valkyrie nature, right? Are you fearing that this brings you even closer to that?
Oh yeah, it's a new thing for her. Anything that's new is definitely like...
Okay. All right. So I think that one weakness applies then.
Okay. Alright. In that case, check again. It wasn't a miss for once.
No, it wasn't a miss, but it's you get one juice in this particular case, and you can spend that on one of the top three in the handout. How do you want to spend this?
I'll throw it out to the table. Anyone has suggestions? I'm just formulating an idea at the moment.
Okay. So this is to contact the dead.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. She can do the top 3. You can create a story tag of medium, like a spiritual medium.
That would be interesting.
How would that work?
Maybe instead of her being able to talk to him, she channels his spirit.
That seems incredibly powerful for one story tag.
Well, I'm just giving ideas.
I know. I'm trying to.
Yeah. No.
Because because as a medium, his voice would come through, right? So
yeah.
That in and of itself, there could be consequences to, right? You don't know what his voice is going to come through as, which is perfectly fine. But there's also okay. So if that happens, depending upon how on how it works, like what how she uses it, it'll probably be one of a couple of like roles that she's going to have to do. Run a couple moves. Either there might be a face danger because maybe Gerald's spirit takes over, or there might be an investigate in order for the questions to ask. And if the questions go badly, then of course there's different things that go in. So that's just the idea of the spirit imbuing her seems a little risky to me, just from a gameplay perspective, because I'm not sure how to quite resolve him kind of communicating through her.
What exactly are we trying to do with this change? Like, I get something to do with like talking to the dead, but what exactly?
Essentially, we want to be able to shake her into not being able to lie to us in much.
What if we talked to the people she has killed? Like, you could hear a few of the people she has killed
instead of just going straight for Walker.
Yeah, instead of just going straight for Walker, like, you hear bits and pieces of some of the stuff that the people that she has killed.
I would also say maybe story tag a fleeting conversation. Like, you can only ask him 3 things, or whatever amount of things that the GM.
Yeah.
Well,
so it's again, that's the kind of thing where it's like it's an investigation. If that's the case, if she takes if she changes the game, she gets the story tag of medium. The medium comes in, right? That comes into play. She can communicate with the dead in this scene, right? It then still becomes, in order for her to get questions that she can ask, or
she has to investigate.
She has to investigate and use the number of clues, the number of clues that she would generate from that to do that.
Okay.
As long as that mechanically is okay with how we would run this, then I'm good with you choosing the ability to speak to the dead, be a medium or whatever. But I think Sam's question about what is the actual result that you're looking for here, a valid question to ask, given the fact that you're now essentially tapping into that.
Well, I get that we're doing, talking to dead. I just wanted to know why we were talking to the dead exactly. But if it's to make sure that she's not lying to us, then I could see us talking to, like, maybe you can't hold on to one spirit specifically, but you can, like, tap into, like, certain spirits she has, like, killed.
Okay.
I think I like that more.
Yep.
Like, passing fleeting comments that she can't.
Yeah.
Especially at the moment, she's not. This isn't. This is very, very, very new to her. I very much like the idea, and I would envision the idea that when she did something like this, it would be fleeting whispers.
It's like a learning curve. She's gonna have.
Yeah, it wouldn't be like a direct connection to like a thing. I think it would work better if it is just fleeting words, fleeting questions, fleeting ideas.
Yeah, because
when Sable is speaking.
Because, like, we can investigate, like, Sable or whatever, like, do an investigation roll, and, we could ask her a question, and with the story tag, we can, like, if she's lying to us, we'd have more of a sense of, like, like you just hearing like wrong in your ear or something.
Or they may drop a word or a key phrase that
Yeah.
it would be very useful for us to like
Yeah.
shout out. So.
Yeah.
Again, that would be based on the number of clues that you would earn from your investigate roll.
Yeah, totally. I'm just saying like that's how it could work.
Yeah.
Okay. Great.
Because we were trying to figure out how to work it.
Okay.
So.
Great. That sounds great then. So what is it? What are we calling the story tag that's attached to this then?
I think we were medium, didn't we?
Yeah. Okay. We're gonna go. I just want to make sure that that's what we're calling it. Is we're calling it medium.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Now that medium is in play, what do you want to do next? Anything?
I'm probably still tending to what I can with Julia.
Right. And so, with that in mind, you guys are done preparing for this. I'm giving you a number of opportunities to just kind of like set yourself up for whatever is about to come next. So I'm kind of giving you an opportunity to set the scene before she wakes up. So anything else that you want to do?
Charlie, what about you?
I mean, Charlie can't really do anything in this situation, so she's probably gonna sit back and wait for her to wake up.
Okay, so trying to think.
I mean, we're domed. She's contained.
Yep.
You can't see us. We have a link to something else that may help us with questioning her. Other than her waking up, I'm not sure what else we can prep.
Okay.
Okay.
I just wanted to give you guys an opportunity because you guys spent so much time doing prep yesterday for yesterday's conflict. This is a sort of a like this is another big scene, so I wanted to give you as much time to do that as well before you get into this circumstance. Okay. All right. So slowly she begins to stir, Henry, as you kind of notice as you're tending to her, and she just kind of stirs a little bit. She's kind of looking around, emoting, looking around, and you can see she's struggling against the bounds of the briar casket. What's going on? Where am I?
You are in a remote location. You
smells like fish. Must be by the docks.
Or we decided to bring you food. We noticed that you were rather feline in nature.
What a terrible assumption.
Oh, okay.
Where you will let me go right now.
You will answer some of our questions, madam, or you will not be leaving.
I will not be answering any of your questions. I will just be waiting until somebody comes to kill you.
I flick her nose again.
Little girl, you can do all you want, but I can smell you and I will track you.
Good try.
Oh, all right. You know what?
Miss Cox, you really need to be more careful. I know where your father works. I know where your mother spends her time.
And I found you very easily and took you down, so what's that have to say about you? The person everybody calls so powerful. You, the person no one else can take down. What did we do? We took you down. What does that say about you? Don't mess with my family.
Your family is dead, Miss Cox. They're just waiting for it.
You want to play that game? I will kill you.
At that moment, like, Henry grabs Charlie's shoulder. Why don't you go sit over there? And he places a hand, an armored hand on Sable's mouth. Look, we just want information on Anatoly. I'm going to remove my hand, and we're going to have a civil conversation. Please.
There is no conversation to be had.
Well, I guess we'll just have to take you for a swim. Do you like swimming, Miss Sable?
I don't have any preference. I'll go swimming, and then you'll be dead. And I don't care.
Okay. Henry kind of picks the casket up, and it kind of like melds into his armor. he looks at Sethana. Sethana, please, if you'd like to join me, Charlie, as well. We're going to go over by the docks.
Do you think death scares me? Do you really think that I'm afraid of you threatening to throw me in the water?
No,
I think you are.
no, I don't
Gotta
think
be
you're
scared
afraid.
of something.
I think
Everyone.
she's playing off the whole cats have 9 lives. I guess we'll have to drown her 9 times.
Oh, well, I wasn't. Very well.
You can let me go, and I'll kill you all last. That's my only offer.
Last?
Oh, yes. I have
So
a long
there's-
list.
Yeah, I wanted to ask about that. Why is Roz on that list? Why?
No
is,
questions.
Why not?
No questions, no freedom, Miss Sable. This is how this works.
Then
you
throw
don't
me in
answer-
the water.
Oh, please do not tempt me, Miss Sable.
You do not have the balls, do you, boy?
I'd do it.
I know
Henry.
who you are, Mr. Windsor. I know your father. He's on one of my lists.
He kind of closes his eyes, licks the back of his bottom lip, opens it. The red ring forming as he gets frustrated. He then removes the coffin and tosses it to the ground, gets on top of it, and with a spiked thorn fist, smashes it into her face.
Smashes what into her face?
His fist. So he has a gauntlet of ironwood because he still has the armor on. On each knuckle, thorns are going to protrude like a brass knuckle kind of deal, and he's going to punch her in her open face.
Hit her with all you got.
Mm-hmm. Briar weapon. Briar defense because it's coming out of my armor. I would invoke pacifism.
You're definitely invoking pacifism, absolutely.
Because he's not fully gone, but he's teetering on that edge because he's getting frustrated. Yeah, we'll just hit him with all I got with those.
Hold on.
Oh, okay. Hold on.
Well, yes, you're gonna hold on.
Okay.
You might want to re-roll it.
No, you're not
Okay.
gonna re-roll it because with a power attack of 1. Wait a minute. You invoked 2, right? And then 1. Okay. So you have no authority here. Would have also been invoked. So it would have reduced it basically to 7. So it would have been basically a wash for all of that. So you hit her, but you have no power, right? So you don't actually inflict a status on her.
Yeah. No.
Spend whatever that is. Spend one of those. Spend your one ability, and then we'll talk about what actually happens.
I do have 2 juice as well.
You do have 2 juice as well. However, in this situation, if you're invoking those, I need you to be very clear about what it is that you're doing with them. I want you to be very specific.
No, I'm gonna spend my 1. I'm going to hold the target's attention.
Smart.
You're going to hold the target's attention.
Mm-hmm.
Well, she's already.
You already have her. You
Yeah.
basically have her attention.
Would it also make it awkward for us two to be able to ask her any questions?
You could say no collateral damage, as in you did not break the casket.
Okay. That I like that one.
That way she's still secure, so that so like no collateral damage, as there's no damage to the casket, so she cannot get out still.
And she still can't see us because if you punch her in the face, you could break those limbs.
Yeah. So I punch her and I grit my teeth and I say, "You are trying my patience, Miss Sable."
Henry, come on, back off. gonna go over and try and push him off of her.
Okay, so I got a quick question though. You said that you were going to invoke your 2 juice in this scene. Are you going? Are you going to do that?
No, when you said when you brought it up, I realized that there's nothing really I want to spend the juice on right now.
Okay, great.
So I backtracked. I'm sorry.
That's perfectly fine. I just wanted to make sure I understood what the intent was there. So
yeah.
All right. So in doing that, you smash it and it just hits, right, and it hits the hits the coffin, sides, but what does kind of scare her a little bit as you can feel her kind of jerk back as Sethana comes up and says what she says.
And he kind of like shrugs Sethana, looks at her, and puts a hand up. You're trying my patience, Miss Sable. All I want is information. Nobody can give me a straight answer about why anybody wants these powered people anyways. I just want to know, why do you want Lily Chow and why do you want Roslyn?
She smiles and doesn't say a word.
Henry, you get off her. You're not stable enough to ask her questions right now. Just take a moment, get off. You're too close to this. Get off.
He gets up and he walks over to the side. He starts pacing back and forth. His eyes on the coffin. He's clearly arguing with himself. The voice says, "You can turn that thing into an Iron Maiden. You could just skewer her right now if you wanted to. Kill her, dead. That's all you have to do." Henry's like, no. She's a living creature. I can't do that. That would make me like her. You're already like her, Henry. Come now. Come on. You ripped the guy's heart out. You've torn people limb from limb and hung their limbs from trees as warnings. That was me. That was you. I am you. I'm that little nagging little voice, little feelings of suppression that you push down. I wouldn't say it if you didn't feel it. And he just continues pacing back and forth.
Charlie is like fuming because she does not take threats well to her family.
I can imagine.
I want to kill her. I just want to kill her. I don't care about questioning her anymore.
Don't ever.
No.
Sounds like Sethana's going to be the only rational one
I
here.
want to kill her now.
Oh, yeah. I'm really sorry, Miss Sable. My companions are a little
Unhinged?
I wouldn't go so far as to say that to their face, but yeah.
When I kill somebody, I have reasons. I'm not bloodthirsty and angry all the time.
No, I'm not either. I'm just, frankly put, I'm so wasted right now. I'm not entirely sure why we have you, and frankly put, I'm not sure I care enough to preserve your life, but whatever. I mean...
You can kill me if you want. Will it satisfy your hunger for vengeance?
Mine? No. Hell no. Why would it... No.
I know who you are, Sethana Burke. I know who you really are.
Then we both know I don't fear death either.
Unlike you, Miss Cox and Mr. Windsor, they play on emotions. You're in a little bit more control.
I try to be.
Charlie hears that.
Mm-hmm.
And she walks off into the warehouse to find something.
Henry's still fuming. He is kind of lost at this moment, kind of like he would be if he was just frozen, but he's just fuming. His eyes are just glowing red and green, red and green, as he's just still having this internal conflict.
Mm.
So, Miss Sable, now we both have got the pleasantries out of the way, you know. You can't scare me, I'm not scaring you. So, we don't need to cut the shit on that.
I don't play
What
in
we really
fear.
wanna know.
Not at all. I back everything up with action. There are no words that I do not mean, and there are no opportunities that I do not take. And I will kill her parents and his father.
Well,
Mm.
I'm not sure that we're gonna be okay with that.
I
In
don't
fact,
care.
actually, no, I'm gonna go with not. But if you're someone who takes opportunities, how about the opportunity to tell us a little something, and we'll make sure that you can continue on your way without us telling, I don't know, say, your boss that you told us absolutely everything you know about him, about why you murdered all those people like Gerald Walker, or why is it you're trying to kidnap Lily? I mean, we both know there's no such
I don't
thing
want
as
to kidnap Lily. I
You
want her
don't?
dead.
Oh,
She deserves to die, just like you.
but why? I mean, she's just a
Because
little
don't you want to
girl.
join your brother there, Miss Burke?
In death? Are you kidding?
That'd be so much easier.
It would. But, some of us gotta keep going, you know?
You can give up. It's okay. Mr. Windsor over there has already given up. He's given into his baser desires. I know what he did. I saw the footage.
Saw him do that, huh?
Mm-hmm.
When Henry kind of stops, and he's like, "Excuse me, did I hear you right? You wanted to kill Ms. Chow?
I'm going to kill them all.
She's a child.
That doesn't matter.
That does matter. She's an innocent.
Oh no. Miss Chow is not an innocent. Not by any means. She's a thief. And a liar. Isn't
What?
that applied to your sense of justice there, Mr. Windsor?
I take murderers more seriously.
But aren't all guilty? Aren't you guilty of murder? Who's going to judge you, Mr. Windsor? And aren't you endangering a child every time you take Miss Cox out with you? Isn't she
I'm
an
18.
innocent?
I'm 18.
But a child still.
Henry kind of like raises his clawed hand, and he begins to constrict the casket around her. Then he's going to be spending his juice to do this.
Okay.
This juice. So as he does, these thorns begin to like kind of arise out of these, out of the casket, both inside and out, and it begins to tighten. Do not presume that you know my morals, my philosophy. You are an affront to life itself. You take life, innocence.
I am a hunter. I hunt my prey. I think you know something about a hunt. Don't you, Mr. Windsor? At least that's what I'm told. Don't you have a little place you hide when the days grow short and the nights grow long and the city grows cold? I feel your thorns, Mr. Windsor. The pain hurts, but the pleasure I get from your guilt takes that pain away.
I am going to cleanse this city. as he is fully lost now as he continues to constrict. I'm going to cleanse this city. People like you, you're a rot. You are an infection. You're nothing more.
I'm honest with myself about who I am. Miss Burke is the most honest person I've met in a long time.
Thank you.
Miss Cox denies herself. Mr. Windsor, you are conflicted. But Miss Burke, in another life, I would have called her friend. Because she is also a huntress.
My eyes raise and I meet Sathana. I'm going to kill her.
I don't.
This is and that's the only thing he says.
I look at him. I nod and I look down at her.
There's nothing more that we need from her.
I think there is.
What?
We
She-
kill you. We kill you, Miss Sables. And you don't seem scared of death. You assume that someone's gonna come and avenge you. Am I right?
There's no assumptions. I just know the facts.
At this time, Charlie is back.
And the facts are, no matter what happens to me, you're all going to be dead.
Well, that's true of everyone.
No, this
Isn't
is
it?
a little bit more immediate.
Sure.
You see her smelling and smiling as she's kind of smelling the air. I can smell your fear over the smell of sardines.
Fancy giving what would have been a friend in another life a little bit of a heads up. Make sure your passing is fitting.
I'm not guilty. I don't feel remorse. I'm a hunter hunting my prey. You cannot offer me solace. You cannot make amends and help me move on. I will be here much longer than both of you. And as for Miss Cox, she might live a long life, but it'll be a cold, isolated place without her parents.
I'm gonna look up at the other two. Well, I haven't got anyone left to lose. So if you want to kill her, on your heads be it for who you lose. I look down at Miss Sables and just give her a nod of respect.
She can't see it. She's blind.
Oh.
You know you.
I will. I would just put my hand on like the side of her face. Good luck in your next hunt. Then I'll get off the coffin.
Henry is fighting himself. He now it changes. Henry is telling himself, don't do this. Don't do this. Just let her go. Just let her go. She said she'd kill you last. That gives you however long her list is. No. We kill her now. She's not going to take another step. Not a single more life.
You're not
We
going to
won't-
kill me, Henry.
Henry, if you don't do it, I will.
Neither
Why
of you
are
are
you
going
so-
to kill me.
Why are you so sure that I'm not going to kill you?
Because I'm too important to you. You spent so long looking for me to prevent the deaths of others.
We
You kill
spent
me, they
a
die.
day. We spent a day. Oh, that's so long of my life.
No.
That's not true, is it,
She-
Miss Cox? You've been looking for me since Wednesday. That's 5 days. Sounds like you've had a little bit of time to think about what's going to happen, right, Henry? You're not going to kill me. You're not going to do anything more than you've done. In fact, you're going to let me go. Because if you don't, then everybody on my list dies immediately.
As soon as he hears that, he closes his eyes, raises his hand, and he's going to stop holding back. I think this is the point where he chooses that he's going to kill this person. This is Henry's choice.
Mm-hmm.
This is him saying, "You're right. You're right. You are very important to me. I have been looking for you. And I have found you." A smile stretches across his face. "I have found you and I have trapped you, my little quarry. You're a blight. I'm going to enjoy every second of this."
Are you sure you want to kill me, Henry?
And as
Because
soon
you're
as
goodbye to your father, then.
Are you sure you want to
It's
put
a
everyone's
promise.
name on that list at risk?
She's probably bluffing.
Can I ask my undead companion if that's true?
She's not bluffing.
Okay.
You see, I hunt them one by one, Henry. I want them. I always know where they are. I want them. I want their blood on my hands and in my mouth. I want to feel my claws dig through their flesh.
Ounce.
And at that moment, he moves his hand downward, and as he does, the thorns and the vines squeeze and squeeze and squeeze, and then they start moving at a rapid rate that would eviscerate her body. That is stop holding back of no return.
All right, I'm gonna give you this. I'm gonna ask you this right now. Are you sure? This is one of those GM moments where it's like, are you sure?
Yeah, no. She just admitted that she's going to murder more, and Henry he's done fighting. He's done.
Ooh.
Okay, I was gonna cut out her tongue. If,
Okay, I'm gonna give the table an opportunity to potentially convince him to not do this.
Mm-hmm.
This is
Well,
one of those
being
moments that's game changing, story changing wise.
Yeah, you are being goaded, my man.
And he knows that.
We've already had the undead confirm that yes, these people will die are on that list. Roz is on that list.
we don't know how she's gonna kill them. She says she will kill them immediately.
Oh my God, this is the devil's advocate right here. This is back and forth. Oh man.
I could,
Like,
that's not what
See,
she
I'm
said. Exactly, was it?
I'm for killing her, but I don't know what the consequences are gonna be if we do.
We can deal with those when it comes. We take her out now. We take a piece off the board. We take out one of the roots of infection that plagued the city.
Don't know how her death is going to affect Roz, who is already unconscious. We don't know how many people are on that list, and there, since children is your line, there could be children on there. In fact, I believe Lily is also on there. We don't know enough about who she is, what she is, to be able to kill her and happily deal with the consequences of all this death. Savannah, to be honest, doesn't really care, because death is death. Death comes to us all anyway. But I want to throw that thing out there. You are being utterly goaded in the description she's giving you to actually kill her, which means this is probably a part of her plan.
What if we just maim her?
I'm good with that.
Cut out her tongue.
She's already pretty maimed. I mean,
Well, I'm saying like cut out her tongue, blind her, maybe cut off her legs so she can't walk.
Or we could give her to someone who wants her.
I still want to cut out.
I gain
her tongue.
ourselves some more power that way.
I'm still. If you don't kill her, I'm still cutting out her tongue.
Is this conversation happening?
Yeah,
Actually.
he's like,
Screw it, yeah. Screw it. Stefana would not... I mean, she's trying to convince him otherwise. That's literally why she told him not to do this, which is, are you sure you want to do
I
this?
think
Yeah.
Henry is going to do this, and he knows the consequences.
She's smiling as she's listening to this conversation, by the way. You can see that she's got a big, evil sort of grin.
Fuck
Cameron.
it.
If you do this, man, this is all going to be on you. Can you deal with that burden? I mean, for me, death is death.
And
You're struggling enough as it is. Fuck her. Take her out of the equation. I'm worried about you.
he closes his eyes and he looks at Zathana. I have no qualms with death. In fact, I think I like it. And then, bam.
All right. So
Wow.
roll your logos. Roll 2d6 plus your logos. Hold, actually, let's talk about the
I want this, but I'm scared for it.
the scale.
It's going to be no return. If I fail, I have to replace a theme book. I know exactly what theme book I'm going to replace.
Well, it's not. No, on 7 of 9, it's automatic.
Mhm.
You're automatically replacing the theme book regardless because of your
Okay.
ability, right? Because you're
Yeah.
using your expression, right?
Mhm.
Remember we talked about this last night. So no matter, even if you fail, it's still going to be a 7 to 9.
Yeah,
You're still going to have to replace a theme book regardless.
yeah, because it's part of the improvement contained the surge.
Okay.
So
Hey, Kyle. Oh,
so it's a 6.
which means it's still a 7 to 9.
Mhm.
Sorry, you only have you have only one logos.
I have 2.
Well, it's 2d6 plus
Plus
2.
Oh,
So that
2d6
means
plus
it's
2.
going to be 8.
Mhm.
So it's going to be an 8. So you are going to replace the theme book regardless. Describe to us what it's like as she dies.
The casket over her face that forms around her face, and it's kind of like when you squeeze do you guys know those jelly balls that are in the net and you squeeze it and it all just kind of like comes
Yeah.
out?
Yes.
It's like that. And then at the very end, when the constriction is at its tightest, it all twists and basically eviscerates her into like tiny little chopped up pieces.
Before it gets to that point,
Mhm.
you hear a little bit of giggling. And then the pain hits hard. And you hear gurgling and the pain, but still in there, it's still too light. It's still not enough. As you hear the giggling. Again, slightly. As you hear one last guttural grasp. And she's dead.
I release my hands. My hands are trembling. I look at Sethana. No one else is going to die. It ends with her. And then it's going to end with Anatoly. Then it's going to end with anyone else who threatens innocence. She was an evil soul. She was purged.
Can't hear you, Safana.
Can you not?
No,
Yeah,
we
now you
can't.
can. Now we can.
Sorry, I was just whispering very quietly.
I see
dead people. I see a
Yeah.
lot of dead people. You know, facts, yo.
Right.
You know that's never gonna end, right? What you just did, that was cold.
Yeah, but it felt really good.
Let me see, so I'm
Like,
gonna shake a head.
Extremely good.
I remember someone who's really, I won't say goofy, but enjoyed his job of helping people. You put a lot of people at risk. And I'm worried you're not going to get through that okay.
I'll deal with it. I dealt with Tommy. I've dealt with every single life I've taken. Every winter.
And that's why I'm worried. I've seen the way you take it. I felt your grief. I felt your pain. If something happens to Roz.
I look at her. Nothing is going to happen to Roz.
And when you say Roz, like, Charlie kind of reacts in a like, oh shit, we should get back to Roz kind of way.
So I have a quick question for Sethana.
Sure.
This is the first time that you've been around somebody who has died in your presence. What happens here?
I think that she sees the... I think in a moment that everything around her freezes. The moment, like, of that actual moment of death. Everything around her freezes, and she's with the spirit of Sables long enough to either see her taken under the care of another Valkyrie, although I think that Sethana would want to walk with her to Odin's halls. I think she'd want to guide her there.
Given what you know about Sethana, or about Julia Sable, would she go to those halls? Would she be escorted to Valhalla? Or would she be left to fend? So the rules, so this is the interesting part where we start talking about the different mythology and the way the perception is about what happens when you're laid, your judgment is laid bare, you know, in front of your deity. In Norse mythology, fighters, warriors, regardless of their true, you know, their true intentions, valor was the most important, and she was incredibly you know, she was an aggressive warrior. She was very quote unquote brave by those terms.
Pure
She was,
hunter.
yeah, she wasn't meek. She wasn't a villager. She wasn't, you know, feeble in that way.
No.
And
She
so-
would definitely fall under one of the two places that would be there specifically for fighters and noble fighters, either joining Freya's army or joining those of Odin's.
Right.
So,
So,
she would,
I think.
she can't
Go
go
ahead.
to the other place. She can't go to the other place where, you know, where they're not fighters. She is a fighter. She is a hunter. She's very much a fighter, and she's very true to who she is, and that's a quality that is, I guess, revered.
Okay. So does
so-
that mean that you would then escort her to Valhalla as a part of
I think
Odin's army?
Yes, I think Sethana would make that judgment call on him.
Okay. Well, guess what? Because you made that decision, you get to escort her there, and you can have a conversation with dead Julia Sable.
Oh, damn. Okay.
And I'm going to give you an opportunity to roll and investigate
Okay.
so that you can ask a couple of pointy questions in this particular case.
Okay.
So there
Alright,
might this night might be as bad as you know it all pretends to be in respect to you. Even though Henry may have committed something on the mortal plane, something else might come out of it. Something
Okay.
positive might come out of it.
In that case, you guys think of questions while I try and figure out what I'm rolling. Okay. So. Wow. Tale from the Dead.
Okay.
Because she's dead. At this point, she has no need to lie to me. Because she's already moved on.
Mm-hmm.
Well, she's moving on. I'm helping her to do that.
Okay.
I'm taking her to Valhalla. So that would be Odin's insight. Yeah, I'd argue that.
Okay, so I'm gonna throw 2 at you.
Yep.
2 additional tags. One's gonna be a power tag because I think it totally applies given the destination, which is drinking hall.
Yeah, I was about to add that one too.
Okay. I definitely think that this again applies to feeding the fear of becoming the Valkyrie because you're recognizing it. Now, I want to say one other thing about this particular situation. There was a subtle hint of if you choose not to do this, it was going to be a make a hard choice move. I didn't want to present it as that though because I didn't want to tell you that that's what it was. I wanted to see how you would react in character or as a character naturally or a player naturally to this. All right. So, roll it.
Okay, so I have 4 positives, and I have the 1 weakness tag.
And the 1 weakness tag.
I'm missing. Okay. Investigate, yep. Please don't fuck this. Roll 20, do not do this. Mildly successive.
Okay, well, so that's still 3. That's 3 clues, based on the investigation, right? And she may tell you half truths, although this is the afterlife, so I don't think there'll be half truths, or maybe it'll be a little bit vague versus it being clear facts.
Yeah.
But so you've got the 3 clues. Tell me when you're spinning them, and we're gonna start into this conversation as time freezes around you. Henry is there looking over the body or looking over what's left of Julia Sable. Just out of curiosity, what is Charlie's reaction as Julia Sable dies?
She wanted her dead anyway because she threatened her family and threatened her parents and.
Piquito!
Yes, he's being a pain right now because he wants food. Yeah, she wanted her dead. But when she died, she realized the consequences that came with it.
So there's a little bit of a shock on her face?
Yeah, she's like realizing like she needs to get back to Roz and her family, like check on them.
Okay. So that's exactly what you see on Charlie's face in this frozen moment. And this moment is frozen, right? And for you, this is sort of like the first time, Sathana, that you're kind of experiencing this. Like you're consciously experiencing this, right?
Yeah, consciously, yeah, because I think the other time she was tripped out on drugs. So.
And you kind of look over, and there's Julia Sable, looking quite the vision of complete whole, no scars, no bruising, no, she's not transformed in any way. She's just standing there, kind of looking at you expectantly. Is it over?
I think you're done, yeah. I'm gonna take you to Valhalla.
Isn't that meant for the noble and the just?
You were honest with yourself. You hunted your quarry as you should. You didn't exactly hunt great things, like you aiming to hurt children, but at the end of the day, sometimes the hunt is about taking the young, the old, and the sick. I can't judge you for that. You're just playing your nature.
She looks down towards her body. And when you look down to look at what she's looking at, there's an additional light, glow, miasma, however you want to describe it, like some sort of like plasmic effect on her body. It's purple, and it kind of swirls a little bit. And she looks down at it and she says, "It wasn't always like this." And then I felt a change. And she kind of looks around. I'm going to miss this terrible, dirty place.
I think a lot of people do. Miss Stables.
And she begins to walk, just to kind of move forward as the
Yes.
both of you are heading towards this.
What contingency is in place for those people to die on your list? First question.
It's true. Part of it was just me. But part of it was, and she kind of leans her head back. And that part made sure that those people are going to die. I worked for a very bad man. And he knew my personal needs, desires, drives, and he fed them, guaranteed my bloodthirst in exchange for the things that I did for him. So yes, those people are in danger.
Your boss.
I think you know the answer to that.
The three sisters. I know you have something to do with that.
She smiles and she says, "You know, I actually didn't.
Really?
That was another part of this crazy world that I had nothing to do with. People attributed it to me because they knew I was vicious. I'm sure they even attributed it to my employer. But I'm not even sure if he was. I mean, he deals in information. That's his personal type of business. But
What information is he after?
all information. Information is power. It's the way that it's his currency. It's the way that he does business. Everything he does comes out of that. And I'm going to assume that both of those like elements is just your second question, right? And so as you guys are beginning to walk, you know, and the environment around you is sort of fading a little bit. It's you know, it's getting more cloudy and less, you know, they're blurry, right? And it's less like coherent. And just off in the distance, you can hear the carousing and yelling from a hall, from a drinking hall. And she kind of lifts her nose. I can smell baked bread and roasting meats and sweet beverage.
It's probably me.
And something a little tart and tangy too.
Wine or whiskey?
Whiskey.
How about, this is the end of the line for me. How about you keep one aside for me if I come here?
Sure, I'll keep a seat warm for you. She kind of looks around. And you've got one more, so.
I can't, because I accidentally got more information out where I was counting that as 3. You kept dropping stuff I wasn't asking. I'm like, oh, okay.
Ask the table. The table can totally support you in this.
Yep. I would, yep. If you guys had time to think of questions. What that question?
Where can we find Anatoly?
Okay.
Do we know,
So-
we know she works for Anatoly.
Okay, so I'm gonna be very, very direct about this. That's gonna be easy for you to find.
Okay.
It's gonna be super easy for you to figure out.
Yeah.
So this is an opportunity to get.
How do we defeat Anatoly?
Oh, okay.
So how we can find him? It's how do we
Stop
defeat
him.
him? Yeah.
Your boss. I know you said that things weren't always like this for you. We've got an opportunity to stop him. Anything you would suggest?
I'm sorry. I can hear Willow in the background over there. She's being adorable.
It's like, gotta keep straight face, can't laugh.
Anything to do to stop him? Is that your question?
Yeah, basically.
You see her. You stop as you had said. You know this. You're not going any farther. She continued on, right, and she's still moving forward. And when you ask that question, you can see that there's a glowing like portal of like a doorway kind of a thing leading into a hall, and you can hear the sounds and you can smell and you can see vague shapes and movements. And she gets very close to it, and she kind of turns and she looks back at you, and she says, I don't know what you mean. And she starts to step back towards you. What? Stop him from doing what?
Hurting more people.
He's not hurting anybody. Not by his direct actions, at least. That was my thing. These people on this list, those were my prey. If you're talking about my employer, you have to understand that he's more complicated than that. He deals in the dead all the time, but he's not responsible for them. He just takes care of them. I expected to see him instead of you, but I feel honored that you were here.
You're the first person I've knowingly escorted here. So, I feel honored that you'd let me.
I kind of had no choice in the matter. At least that's my instinct. And I always trust my instinct.
Maybe it was just fated to be.
Maybe. And she starts to turn, looking longingly back at the door. And she looks to you and she says, this isn't a simple, who's the bad guy? I don't know what you've caught up in. You're asking about the sisters. You're asking about my boss and who he murders. I can't tell you that it's that simple. But he doesn't kill people outright. And those sisters, they're not innocent. At least that much I know. And she begins to turn and walk back towards the door. And as she reaches the door and she kind of looks inside, she dips her head inside and she kind of looks back out. It's going to be fun here. And she steps inside.
Anna smiles at her.
And so as that happens, the scene sort of fades back in. Right? Life begins to kind of progress. And Charlie and Henry begin to move normally again. And to them, nothing happened.
Henry drops to his knees after he's made that decision to let the voice win. he realizes that to stop Sable from killing more people, he had to kill her. He drops to his knees, and there's a burning sensation throughout his arms as the sound of sizzling flesh begins to creep from his wrists up to his chest. He removes his armor and removes the shredded clothes that Sable had recently shredded the previous episode. And his bare chest, these tattoos begin to sear themselves, brand themselves into Henry's body. They look of the Pictish variety, like the old Pictish warriors of Ireland and Scotland and whatnot. They look like hounds. He's screaming, and the pain just kind of overwhelms him, and he just kind of falls limp onto the ground.
He unconscious?
He's passed out. The pain of being this, like, he has now 2 sleeves of tattoos that lead up to his chest where these heads of these hounds lay.
Charlie, we should do the thing with him.
I would pick Henry up and throw him over my shoulder.
Is the talk with Stables, or is it with one of you two?
I believe he was using the torque on her, but it was on Henry's person.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I just didn't want to leave that behind by accident.
Yep. So you, but at this time, the coffin would kind of like just kind of fall open.
To a dead body.
Yeah. To the gore, and because of everything that happened, the vine dome around them become brittle, and they start to crack and fall. So much of Henry's power over the vines is fading. So
Probably get him back to Raz. Back to his apartment.
Yeah. So I guess that's what we're doing, taking Henry back to his apartment where Raz is.
And leaving there the gore and the brutality of what just happened sort of on the floor there.
Yep. Someone else can deal with it. The guy with the booties.
it's Dexter.
Do you know anything about the guy with the booties?
No, I don't really care about the guy with the booties right now.
Brahms does. Ask Brahms in chat.
Brahms, give us meta information.
Can I? I'm assuming I have a copious amount of flasks on me.
I always assumed that you were dressed like the female version of David Tennant in the long overcoat, and all the overcoat is just basically it's bigger on the inside with pockets full of like flasks.
Yeah. Like how I used to basically.
It's like what is it? That one scene from Sinbad, the animated movie, where it's like no weapons here, and they start pulling out weapons. They cut, and they have like a whole scene. They cut back, and this guy's still pulling out weapons out of everywhere.
How many flasks do you have within reach, Sethan?
Genuinely, I have 5. So I think apart from Ollie's, I think she pours some of the cheaper booze down and find a way of lighting it so that they can dispose as much of the evidence as they possibly can.
Yeah, you have
a ton of kindling too.
Yeah, a ton of dry kindling. It would have been dry, dead branches.
God. If I do this, I might accidentally cause a proper fire on the dock front. I may have set fire to Booty Guy.
Yeah. Please set fire to Booty Guy.
Alright. I set a fire. I use all the kindling, I'll stack it around Sable's body. I will use the alcohol as an accelerant, and I will light a fire to dispose of much of this evidence as possible. And then as soon as it starts going, I will leave. And I'll follow Charlie back to Henry's apartment.
Okay, so just because I want to understand how good this fire actually works, will you roll a change the game for me?
Sure. Do I take any tags?
We used flasks, so...
You did use Ollie's flasks.
I'm not using Ollie's flask. I said
Well-
the exception of Ollie's, because that's the really good booze.
Right. But still, I mean, I think it applies because you used some alcohol.
You're using flasks. Yeah.
Alright, okay. I guess I'm drinking from Ollie's flask whilst hurtingly pouring out the booze I should be drinking. Okay.
Pour a little for your homies.
Just a little, not much.
Just
a
a
little.
little.
One out
Not-
from my girl.
she was a bitch.
If I'm pouring out from... Okay, I'm not doing it from a sense of grief from her. I'm not doing it really to do any... I don't know. I don't think anything else really applies here.
Are you sure Tides of Fortune doesn't really apply here?
Your fortune to light a fire.
No, what I mean by that is you're
Unfortunately
changing the course of something. You're changing the course of this circumstance by burning the
Okay.
body.
Yeah.
And I
Guilt,
want to say
like
either
that.
Tales from the Dead or The Dead Have No Need to Lie. And the reason I would think either of those is because this is directly related to somebody who's dead.
Okay.
Do you want to invoke a weakness tag at all?
I think Tale from the Dead rather than No Need to Lie, because I'm literally doing this to hide the fact that we're here. That is, in essence, a kind of lie.
Okay, sounds good.
Or it depends what kind of lying you mean. If
Correct.
It's laying down, or...
The dead have no need to lie down.
Yeah,
I think they do.
burn bodies.
I think guilt. I think there's an essence of guilt there. She could have tried more to stop this, but she didn't. I mean, she did try, but she could have done more in her mind.
Was she really? I mean, was she apathetic about this situation, or was she just because? Honestly, I don't think. I think if there's guilt, any guilt there, it's about the fact that she saw somebody who she considered potentially an equal. You know, and saw them fall on the battlefield. But that's also part of the nature of who she is as a Valkyrie, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I think, if anything, maybe people find you terrifying, and that's just Charlie and Henry, because you're, just nonchalantly, oh, here, little for my homies, oh, let me light this match.
Alright, I'll take terrifying.
Sounds good.
I'll take terrifying. Alright, okay, so that's 3 positive, 1 negative.
Okay.
And what, I'm changing the game?
Yes.
You are changing the game. Remember, the goal here is to basically identify how well you set this fire. Like, how much of the evidence you actually eliminate.
Well, it's a great success, so it's all gone. It's all gone.
Wow! So the great
Oh, God.
success, you get 3 juice. Remember, the first power tag becomes 2 juice, and then that third power tag comes, or that second power tag comes into play and we make it a total of 3. So, Sathana, spend 3 juice in this scene with all of those options available to you.
Holy crap. Hiding the effect wouldn't count. I'm trying to hide the fact that we were here.
That's a big factor. Yes, you can actually say that that's hiding the effect.
Yes, I would like to hide the fact that we're here, that we were here, involved in this, like, at all. I don't care if they find bits of her remains, but I don't want them to find us.
Okay, so that's 1 juice.
Okay. I have 1 left, right?
You have 2 left,
Not 2 left. Okay.
right? Because remember, the first juice on a great success becomes 2. So you still have 2 juice to spend in this situation.
We had an interaction with Booty Guy, didn't we?
Yeah.
This is so bad. Oh no, it's only a temporary tag. Damn it. Okay.
So it's a temporary tag for this particular scene, but really what this is about most effective what's going on here
Maybe
in this
Booty
scene.
Guy wouldn't see us leaving.
So hiding your exit from the scene, that's another one. That's totally
Yep, I'll
another way.
take that.
Okay. So you're hiding that you were there. You're hiding your exit. You got a third one you need to spend. I'd take suggestions for the table if you can't come up with something.
Yeah, I've got nothing other than maybe Booty Guy doesn't remember us. That's more like a temporary tag, I guess. Like, I don't want him to be able to identify us.
That's
But
true.
I don't think that would work here necessarily because we had a proper interaction with him.
You could put a tier status on him of like.
Oh, tier 1
Un-
status of unimportant,
Yeah.
irrelevant.
Yes, we're irrelevant to him. He gets this stuff all the time. He's not going to remember 3 random strangers who carrying the body of a woman who's clearly been burnt to death recently. Yeah. How about that?
Okay. Sounds good.
Ah, holy crap. Then yes, I think I'm done.
All right, great.
Damn good fire.
All right, so
Fire good.
we're cutting to Henry's apartment then?
Mhm.
Yes.
All right, when you arrive, Roz is still passed out.
Is she like passed out or like dead?
No, she's passed out. She's unconscious still.
Okay, good. I put Henry's body down on the couch.
After some time, Henry comes to and he rubs his face. His eyes are just his normal emerald green.
Hey, how you doing there?
I killed someone. I remember that.
Definitely made that choice.
I looked down at my arms and see the Pictish tattoos on my chest. Well, there goes me getting a respectable job.
Ah, wear long sleeves, you'll be fine.
And something nags him in the back of his mind. What are you doing sitting? We gotta hunt. People are going to go after a list that Sable had. We need to find that list. Now I've given you some help. He shakes his head and he kind of breathes out. And as he does, the tattoos begin to glow a faint blue as these 2 hounds leap off of his chest into reality. Now these are spiritual hounds. These are ghostly hounds. Kind of like Hans was, made up of that kind of matter, you know? They look at Henry and they take the form of Irish wolfhounds. They look at Henry and they give him like a goofy little mustache, bearded look and like panted, hit their tails wagging, and then they kind of look over at Sethana and Charlie, and their hair begins to stand on edge as their form shifts into these 2 great dire wolves. And they begin to growl low, and they kind of like stalk towards them.
Henry.
Stop, he says to the wolves. What are you doing? What are you? And I think that's when he's going to explore his mythos if we can take some downtime.
Not this time around.
Okay.
But we will start with that as next time. But the phone rings for Charlie.
Okay.
Dad.
I answer it.
Charlie, are you okay? Charlie,
Dad, I'm here. What's up?
your mom's been in an accident. You need to get to the hospital right away.
Charlie like drops her phone and just like runs out the door.
And that's where we're gonna end it.
Okay.
Wow, guys. There's some brutal shit that happened today.
I don't know how I feel about anything. I'm not okay.
Your mommy's hurt. I think you need to go find out what's going on with your mommy.
I'll heal her.
I always had a feeling at the end, like when I confronted Sable, something like this was going to happen.
Yeah, I had a feeling about this too.
I was like, either she gives us the information or Henry's going to kill her.
Aww.
Henry's
gonna kill your mom?
I was also gonna kill.
Oh, yeah.
I was also gonna kill Sable.
He did. If she dies, it is his fault. So you can consider him to blame.
I would probably. Charlie holds grudges. I would probably.
No, you're fine. Everybody's fine. Everybody's gonna be fine. You're gonna be fine. It's all gonna be good.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
fight.
I got my torque.
All right, guys, that was an awesome episode. Some crazy fight at the beginning, and then some crazy sort of RP slash, rolls at the end, which revealed some pretty big stuff for you guys. I'm looking forward to what happens next week, how you respond to all this information, and how you deal with the circumstances as a result of the death of Julia Sable. So with that, why don't we go around the table? We'll do some quick outros. And then we will do a couple quick announcements, and then we will go and raid somebody. So why don't we start with Sam this time?
Hi, I'm Sam, also known as Harley's Armory. You can find me on Twitter and eventually Twitch when I start streaming again. Yeah, tonight was fun. Charlie's a wreck. Yes.
Just a wreck? Are you sure?
She's a wreck.
All right. And what about anything? Any place we can find you? Like I don't know, like Encounter Roleplay.
Oh yeah, you can find me on Encounter Roleplay on Mondays at 10 a.m. PST, 1 p.m. EST.
What time is that GMT?
I don't know.
Okay.
It's like 6 p.m. for them, I think.
Wow. Okay. All right. So let's go jump over to Valanda. Valanda, go ahead and introduce yourself. Or after your outro.
I'll do my outro because I'm still Valanda. Actually, now I'm Valanda without coffee. I'm bereft of coffee. 2 coffees down, I'm out of coffee. That was intense and fun, and I got to do some new shit with my new book, which I'm very happy about. It was very, very cool. Thank you, Johnny. Yeah, that was interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing what the consequences of this are next week in our season 1 finale.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly it.
Yeah. Super excited for this. I think we totally made the right decision.
I don't know if I'm ready. I'm gonna take a little nap. I'm gonna sleep through next week.
No, because then we won't find out what happened to your mom.
Yes, exactly.
You two can deal with it.
I have no interest in it. Keep knowing. I have no. I've seen enough Death Strip today. I'm so good.
Then he just kills her.
Yeah, then he just kills her. But Henry's. You can find me on Twitch at blood_BTQ, where it's the easiest way to keep up with the stupid amount of shit that I do currently. Next time I'm online is probably Friday on my own channel, Bloodthirsty_Puppets, where we're doing some more post-apocalyptic gaming. That's it. I'm done.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Very good evening. Very good show tonight for you. I was really impressed with how you handled that last little bit. And then last but not least, Alex.
Hi, I am Alex, also known as Zippy_Zippo, here on the Twitches. I do a lot of video gaming and also tabletop RPGs. I love them. I always look forward every Tuesday. Really interested in seeing what happens to Henry after all this. Does he go full murder, or does he kind of just settle in to realizing that this is what he's supposed to be doing?
That's a really scary thought. I'm just going to say that now. Where else can we find you besides Tuesdays?
You can find me tomorrow on Encounter Roleplay, where we're doing Sans is a Here, where I play my favorite character, Shallot Weatherfields, the Gnome Mage. And you can find me on Sundays over on Henley's channel, where we play Mouse Guard. And then we're switching it up to Stars Without Numbers.
Uh-oh. Second edition for Stars Without Numbers? Because first edition was...
I think the recent.
Yeah.
The most recent.
First edition
I-
was kind of crazy, so
I have this idea for a janitor bot that gets stuck on this mercenary ship, and he has no idea what's going on.
sounds like a perfect space opera situation. Looking forward to it.
So,
All right. Well, thank you, Alex. Again, great show tonight, guys. Looking forward to what happens next week. There will be a couple of announcements next week. I should probably say that that's part one of our little business at the end here. Part two is if you want to catch up on all the episodes for 6 and 20, you can go, or for the Metropolis, the Tuesday crew, you can go here and check out that. There's a playlist on the channel. The last two episodes, this episode and yesterday's episode, will be up on YouTube by Friday. That is the plan, at least. You can also go and check out the other channels, the other nights that we actually play, and for Metropolis. And those on Wednesday nights we're over on UnMade Gaming, and you can get a link in chat right there for sending him a follow. And on Thursday nights we're over on NotSoSpeedRuns. Both of those are at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. Since they stream off of the East Coast, I'll give them preference in respect to the timing. Otherwise, if you want to check out the 6 and 20 YouTube channel, where we do the exclusive Beyond the Mist show, hosted by McLoken, one of the players on Thursday night, he basically does a talk show style format where we talk about world building, the game system, and what's going on in the story at large. Other than that, this is all the social information. If you want to go ahead and check it out, follow the channel, see what's going on with the channel. I have been posting a little bit to Instagram stories as this is going on, kind of sharing some behind the scenes stuff, if you want to check that out. And last but not least, we're going to go ahead and go raid Saving Throw Show. So if you want to go ahead and click on that, we're going to go do that. And then with the raid command, you're going to post this in chat. And thanks, guys. So we'll see you next week for the season finale, and I'll see you guys tomorrow night over on Unmade Gamings. And so from all of us to all of you, bye-bye.
Yeah.
What?
What?
And I think we're clear.
Are we?